Hey, welcome to the last minute. We are so kind, and we are deciding to have this be free and not Patreon only. I'm gonna edit the title because so people aren't like fuck it. We ball save. There we go. But yeah. Hello everyone.
Hello.
We made it.
We made it.
We did it.
We made it to
Climbed
the
the
end of
mountain.
One Piece.
Yeah, and if obviously you haven't seen our other ones, they're all on Patreon. This is the last one, and so if you are confused, keep in mind we'll be also probably summarizing our entire feelings on the series in this stream. But first off, we have the second half of Wano that we have to cover, which is that. And then obviously there's the Egghead that is out currently, and then Jello has a bunch of like nice little charts that he's made specifically.
I have one chart. I didn't finish the other one to a nice degree, but it is functional. Yeah. For anyone popping in, this is our normally private One Piece book club, but I fucked up, so here we are publicly and open, which is fine because that we're done with One Piece after today, and we're going to be moving on to Dungeon Meshi, and we can talk about that at the end.
Yeah.
But maybe you can sit here for 5 minutes and decide if this is a vibe you like, if you want excuses to read manga. So, would you guys recommend One Piece after reading it?
So here's...
Don't let my tone influence your answer.
So here's the thing, right? If you want a complete, like, I would recommend One Piece. Are you talking to me or the audience? Because I'm
talking to you guys
Yeah.
primarily.
Mm-hmm.
Because basically, my answer is, if you want to have a time killer, right, with like some high points, some boring points you can turn your brain off in, I would recommend One Piece for that. But if you're looking for like peak fiction and something that is hyped up, that like One Piece is like, because One Piece is hyped up a lot, right? And a lot of people talk about it a lot, but I don't think it lives up to that hype. So don't come in expecting like the greatness that you expect, but just like it's like fast food where you eat it and it's like it's shitty, but you're like, yeah, this is nutrients, I guess. This is passing my time, because it's not as great as people say it is. That's pretty much.
Going off of what Gamer Hard Drive is saying in chat, if you like a fun, interesting, and weird adventure, go ahead. What I'm gonna say is, I actually think Oda is quite bad at telling an adventure story. And I think his talent is actually in espionage and thriller, because whenever like secret spy shit is happening and there's twists, like all the time Sanji is weirdly good, like the Mr. Prince stuff in Alabasta and all of Water 7, and like the secret Capone assassination plan. Like, those are the most fun I have reading One Piece. I think he's really good at that stuff.
And I think that Wano had, like, you can tell Wano had bones of that got bogged down by other stuff.
Yeah, I would have loved to cut out like 30 chapters of Wano to give me 5 chapters of Robin espionage. That would have been so cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Instead, she gets caught and bodied instantly and does nothing because she's post Ennis Lobby Robin.
Yeah, like it's this thing of adventure-wise. I've talked about this before previously in the podcast, but it's just like there's no real travel time between a lot of the places, or at least we don't see or feel the travel time, right? And they introduced log pose, obviously, which is like, oh, you're supposed to stay on this island for as long as it, like, needs to measure, and some of it's like years or like all this other point, but we never actually
some of
get
it
to
meaning
that point.
Just Little Garden.
Yeah, right, we never really get to see that, and it's just like it's not like time passes between like the islands, and it's just like you could tell me these islands are like right like butts to nuts with each other, and I probably believe you, because it's just like you flip the page and then it's like suddenly there's an island within sight, right? which for an adventure, something that's like quote unquote an adventure series, I feel like it just creates a sense that the world is too small, right? And when they break up in Sao Body and then you get scattered across the world, they just get back to Sao Body just easy, right? Like, I don't know. It's just, it's rough, you know?
I feel like the part of One Piece, the only part of One Piece that feels like a good adventure serial is the instant the ship falls out of the sky in front of them and they go, there's a sky island, we want to get there. And then the instant they get to the sky island, it stops being a good adventure serial again. But like that quest to get to a difficult to get to location that is like legendary for possible gold and rewards, like that's amazing. It's part of the reason that I think Jaya is like, I'm not going to say peak One Piece because it's not Water 7, but it's pretty close.
Yeah, it's a good setup. And with my thoughts on what I recommended to people, I found something interesting happening in, like, around me. Because when this question was first pitched, my answer would have been probably not. But then, like, in watching people around me that I knew through other stuff start to be interested in One Piece through like the live action series and like hanging out with my cousins who got back into it after getting into it with me as a kid, I kind of realized I still like seeing people get into it. Like, I think there's a certain type of person I could still see recommending the series to, and then there are other people, like the kind of friendship I have with Jello, where I would not, because I knew they wouldn't like it.
Yeah, that's why when I was talking about my recommendation, it's just like it, like you can't. I don't believe there's something that you can just generally like universally recommend to people, right? It's just like recommendations are for specific people only. So it's just like if you're looking for this or this, then recommend this. And so it's just like I would only recommend One Piece under certain criteria, you know, like
Yeah.
So I guess I think we're probably going to end up talking about the series as a whole because, like, frankly, Egghead's great, but it's not done, so there's not a lot to talk about. And honestly, you could explain the Wano raid in 2 sentences, so there's not that much to talk about. So, do you guys have anything? Oh, thank you for the 100
Sekiros. I have to watch the VOD later. Just wanted to say that you have a fun experience and look for the One Piece to finally finish in the next decade or two. Yeah, and someone said talking about One Piece is better than reading One Piece low key, and I agree with that so fucking hard. You know?
Yeah, I was saying this right before the stream, but like a big, I don't want to go on this point too long because we've talked about this the last couple book clubs, but you can't ignore how bad the One Piece art as a comic medium has gotten, and that's a huge part of why it's not fun to read anymore. Like even now, if I jump back to East Blue or even like really early Grand Line, I'm like immediately more interested because it's got better visual flow. Yeah. The characters are like smaller and cartoonier and they just look better and there's more negative space. And like back when One Piece looked good, because it doesn't anymore at all, I had so much fun reading it, even though like like we did our personal rankings, which I do have a bootlegged version of that, which I can show off a little later. I'll have to tinker with it before the stream ends. Yeah. But I like, even though Aloha rated it lower, the whole thing lower than Bo and I did in general, because Aloha was doing it more as like a compared to all manga, and I think Bo and I were grading on a One Piece bell curve. But even though I think a lot of One Piece is like fine, or yeah, that's all right, like nothing special, it is a fun time in the early parts, and it is not a fun time for most of the New World. God, the New World is so bad. It's really embarrassing.
I want to grab again the difference between storyboards from the beginning of the series towards the end, because it's really telling.
Yeah, Fox Owl saying the unfinished chapter that came out 2 weeks ago is really sad to see.
Yeah.
We talked quite a bit about that, actually. We were talking about like stuff and
Mhm.
man, I honestly, this feels so petty. I really do just hate Ichiro Oda as a human being. I don't like a single fucking thing about this man. I feel like such an asshole. It's just like, just take a week off, my dude. Just take 2 weeks off. It's fine. You have the most lucrative property of manga in the whole world. You can do whatever you want, and then you do. And then at the same time, he's like, only I can draw all the stuff, and then he draws it badly. I don't know. It's exhausting.
Mhm. Yeah. So are we gonna step into talking about the second half of Wano that we haven't covered?
Sure.
Because there's not really much.
Yeah,
Because
does anyone have anything to talk about?
Well, it's just like the high point of Wano is honestly the Odin flashback, and then everything past that is kind of like.
I like the Yasu death too. That's a good scene.
Yeah. So here is my controversial, like, opinion. Gear 5 is okay, and I hear a lot of like stuff about it, right? Because obviously it was everywhere. You couldn't fucking walk anywhere without hearing about Gear 5, and it's like, I think it's neat that Luffy's like final Giga Chad power up has come this late in the game, right? Like, if you put like Luffy next to like Ichigo or Goku, he would probably lose due to his goofy rubber powers, right? But now it's something greater, and I think that's cool. But like, the people who were talking about how insanely well it was foreshadowed, I don't think it was insanely well foreshadowed. Like,
you had a really good comment on Oda's general foreshadowing somewhere. I put it in the Imgur album, which even though this is free by accident, you're welcome. There are going to be actually kind of a huge amount of patron exclusive things to like celebrate the end of this. I made a bunch of I made a chart of Straw Hat quality over time, which took me like 8 hours yesterday. I spent way too much time on it. I'm gonna have our chart for all of the, like, our opinion of each of the arcs by themselves. And then I'm eventually gonna write a So This Is Basically One Piece script and record it, because I could make that video. I just don't have an artist for it or the time. So Oz has said many times, he's like, I'd rather die than do a One Piece video. And I was like, all right.
And
throw money at me, I'll do it.
It's gonna be so funny.
I mean, if you want, if you want to do that job, we could do that, but we can suffer. Yeah. We can do One Piece suffering for 3 more months.
Jello drags his cigarette, going in for one last job.
I was already trying to get more One Piece suffering. That's why I'm trying to get you to do the One Piece movie marathon.
That's why I read the fucking Ace novels.
I'm glad you did that, because like we kind of spread out. Like, Bo's seen most of the movies, and then I think Bo also did this. But like, I saw the live action, and you were like, I'll go read the Ace novels, and you really were eating the worst out of the 3 of us.
It could be worse. It could be worse than reading the novels. You could read the Dr. Stone version of it.
Oh my god.
The adaptation wasn't out yet when I was reading the novels, but yeah, like, that's
some of the worst looking art I've ever seen. We both said this, Bo, but it's like, it's bad in a very unique way, where it's like, oh, this is alternative 70s and 80s grunge porn comics bad. It's really specific.
So if you guys want to know what we're talking about, artist named Boichi, who I probably butchered the pronunciation, but basically the artist for Dr. Stone made fan chapters of the Mihawks versus Zoro fight from Baradier, and then the Khalifa versus Nami fight. And oh boy, and they're also doing the art for the manga adaptation of the Ace novels. So, like, yeah, look that up. You can Google it. It'll be right in front of your face.
Oh, you know, I'm gonna try and find that artwork, because it's horrible. But you know what? You know where else you'll be able to see that? And I forgot to mention this is we've had this running 6 months long chat where we talk about stuff.
Yeah.
And I went through and made 2 full Imgur albums of some highlight moments of us making fun of things. It's mostly me and Bo because we're reading digitally, so we can screen cap stuff and go, ha, ew. Whereas Aloha's in rich person actual book land.
Yeah, I missed out on like screen caps and stuff because I was reading like the physical books. Someone, Jello, God, I hate blank. Also, Jello, I can't wait to keep coming back to blank and make videos. I mean, the good part about doing this book club and making videos off of it is, one, I can write all the One Piece I bought off on my taxes because this is my job, and also Jello making a One Piece video will make him money.
Yeah, no, like here's the thing, like it's one thing for me to like write a video, but also with Bo is someone I trust to just be like, go for it, and I could do like the loosest, weakest storyboards.
Go find the epithet art book.
Yeah, it's just like so chat, like this is quickly not about One Piece for like 3 seconds. It's like it's Mr. Beast's strategy to YouTube. he either makes a video of him suffering insanely or spends like $20 million. Right? That's the thing, where if he doesn't want to spend the money, he just gets buried alive for like 7 days and people love it. But back to what I was saying, where it's just like Gear 5 isn't really foreshadowed that much. It's like Luffy does one pose back in Skypiea and they mention the sun god. And then like there's like one cover art of him having like the like swoopy like robe thing in like chapter like 30 or some shit. And then most of the foreshadowing for Gear 5 happens 3 chapters before it comes up.
Yeah, so I started saying this and then got distracted because I'm me. You had a really great moment, which is like Oda does foreshadow everything, but in a way where it's just mentioned lamely in one panel, either 3 chapters or 300 chapters beforehand. And that's not good foreshadowing. It's like,
it is foreshadowing.
That's like when
the
boss man was like, you need to foreshadow it. And he was like, fine, I've legally foreshadowed it. There you go.
It's such a shame too, because like with how they show Kuma's backstory in the latest thing, that fully implies that the Bible and the religious things that they show throughout it is based around Nika. But we haven't heard any of that before.
And also, like, why would it be called the Bible? Like, just give it its own name. That's so weird.
Because Brook is Jesus Christ. I'm fucking telling you, dude. Like,
this is One Piece is a reincarnation. So listen, if they do that and it's awful and it's like Zoro is this old guy,
arguing this for so
long. I gotta tell chat my fucking predictions.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I know this is off topic, but like, who cares? This stream's a fucking mess already. But so chat, do you think Gold D. Rogers is Luffy sent to the past?
I hate how plausible that shit is. It's so fucking annoying.
Is he Luffy sent to the past, or is it a reincarnation thing? Because there's a lot I've been capping, just in case.
For the record, Aloha finished, as he often does, Aloha finished this assignment way before Bo and I did, and came in with like several things that I would consider awful story predictions. And then as I was reading it, I went, oh no. Oh no, it's like that one gif of the short chef from Ratatouille, like skimming the letter and getting more and more freaked out.
Like,
oh my god. Oh, hang on, we just gotta.
I lost my brother and grandma to cancer this year, and these streams on Patreon and other awesome content done the world of good for my mental health. I can't express that. Thanks for all of this, and keep up the great work. I'm sorry that it's One Piece though. Maybe join us next time for
super chat.
Join us next time for a better manga.
Though, I went through the same thing, so
yeah. And so, my other prediction is that Monkey D. Dragon has eaten the rain god fruit, and that's why his first appearance, when he showed up, it was raining.
It sucks so bad because you were like, Jello, look at it's one of the god fruits. I'm like, what are you talking about?
And then
you're
I
like,
pulled up the
they mentioned
screenshot
it in
from
Skypiea, which is where they mention everything. And it's like, there were like these 4 gods, and one's the sun god, and here's these other ones.
Here's
and I'm like,
the-
that doesn't mean anything. And as I'm reading more of it, I'm like, oh no, oh god, what if Aloha's right? Oh, this is gonna suck so bad.
I had other ones because I was just spitting straight fire for like 30 minutes, but I can't remember it all. So yeah.
Yeah, like if just know, chat, that Aloha has made a lot of very dispiriting predictions that could so easily happen, because there's a lot of problems in the realm of like, because they introduced time travel in Wano, which frankly they didn't need to do to tell the
because,
Wano story.
so-
It's like, why would they do that otherwise?
The way Oda writes is he goes, there is an ice power, so there must be an equal or opposing force, which is the magma power, right? And so if there's a fruit that can
There's a
send
fire
people
power.
into the future, that means there's a fruit that can send someone into the past, right?
I'm still on Jaya. Oh, Speck of Dust 86. You don't want to be here. Also, sorry you have to read Skypiea after this. But yeah, no, anyway, I'll try and do an actual book club thing.
Yeah.
Wano. So I
Yeah.
think one of the biggest issues with Wano is that where Whole Cake succeeds is that Big Mom is a very big personality, and like I
Yeah.
think she could be a little better, but I do think she's one of the better antagonists in One Piece. Has a lot of personality. I understand how a person with her energy could create the empire she has. I like the core ideology and how flawed it is at the center of Totoland of everyone can sit at the same table because I don't like being looked at like a freak. But then she's like extremely shitty to her own children. Like, it's very interesting. Kaido has nothing going on and is one of the most boring One Piece characters. I think the way I phrased it is, you could draw angry eyebrows on a wall and it would be the same exact character. He's just like, I like violence, for violence is the rule of beasts. Like, he just says nonsense.
His
like,
hobby is make attempts suicide.
his hobby is make attempt suicide. It's so sad to like see Oda. You know how he does that thing where he'll introduce a character with a bit and then be like, that was their bit, and then if it sucked, he'll be like, oh, they're not doing that anymore. Kind of JoJo personality style. Now with Kaido, it's sort of the reverse, where he's like, here's Kaido. Damn, I can't make attempt suicide because
Like,
I was a terrible idea and my editors told me no. What if I change he's drunk and his personality randomly changes? Is this funny? No? Oh, man. 2 whiffs, 3 strikes and I'm
I want
out.
to be in control of Wano, except I don't. I want my son, who hates me, to be in charge of Wano and work for me.
like, so here, like, what was Kaido's motive?
He doesn't have one.
Yeah, he doesn't really have one. It's like, is it to make money?
It's, if I'm being generous, and I'm not gonna be, Kaido is one of those people who's like, I don't like the world government and I'm going to destroy it by being a pirate, but then does nothing to destroy the world government and be a pirate. He's just like, I'll sit here with my super powerful armada on this one isolated island.
Why is his stuff in Wano and not in Dressrosa?
Well, you see, Wano is a good country for weapons and sea stone, and also it has a super weapon in it, so the government hasn't invaded it for some reason.
And he hasn't pulled out the super weapon.
Like,
he doesn't know about it.
Wouldn't it make more sense, like, for, like, I don't know, like, imagine, let me spin you a tale. Imagine it in Fishman Island, right? Kaido is there, underneath like the fucking where all the guys are, right? It's on the red line. He has like 20 million people with like the 5 flying devil fruit that exist, right? That can go over the red line. His distribution network, his hustle is greater in that position, right? Where you can have them
the
fly.
idea of Kaido being the guy who owns the red line is so interesting.
Yeah, especially because the red line is so underdone.
Not only is it underdone, but I genuinely don't think Oda remembers that it's the whole ass equator.
Yeah, I love the stupid fucking bit where there's some reference to the Lunarians, I guess, and they're like, they can't be on the red line. That's where Mary Jo is. It's like, that's a city.
this is the equator, my guy.
Yeah,
Expanding
like
continent.
why would a guy want to rule the Grand Line? Right? It has the fucking calm belt around it where you can't go through. If you rule the Red Line, you own the world actually.
Yeah, so like I genuinely you get a little bit of Kaido backstory, which is like so dumb.
They're
And
part of
it
rock
is
pirates, like
yeah, and he, like I don't care about any of that stuff, but he's like, I've been abused because I'm strong and the world government be mean to me. And he's like, it's kind of similar to Doflamingo, but less interesting, where it's just like, I'm gonna break a bunch of stuff, but then also I'm gonna settle in Wano, and I don't want to be in charge of Wano, even though spoilers for the final cut character list, fucking Orochi is on it. I don't understand what he offers to Kaido. It's all so weird. Like nothing about
Dude,
Wano works.
dude, you know what would make Wano work, or at least a little bit better for me? You want to know who I want to replace Kaido with? Foxy
Buggy the Clown. I love your pitch for this, and I genuinely think it's amazing. Please go ahead.
I don't think I've said this pitch, but I think Foxy being in Kaido's spot and like getting it from winning a Davy back fight from Kaido.
The idea that they're
Yeah.
powerful because they steal the best parts of other crews.
Yeah.
And unlike the original Foxy, yeah, you have mentioned this before.
Yeah.
Unlike the original Foxy, where it makes no sense because the Straw Hats could just murder all of them. Like the idea, it doesn't even need to be Foxy himself, just an Empire of Davy back fight as the backbone for it. Like that would, first of all, that would make the Foxy fight not filler.
Not filler. Yeah. Which is my biggest fucking complaint in my least favorite arc. But yeah, it's just because like
And that would be an actual fun characterization to Kaido of like, maybe he did have a sense of honor and stuff, and he truly couldn't comprehend that someone was cheating at a Davy back fight when there's supposed to be these respected things.
And you could put Foxy into Rochi's position, and then it would make sense that that Kaido eventually got fed up with his shit and just bonk.
Yeah, like
him.
Kaido just has no. Also, it must be said, when Kaido's like, nothing can kill me when I makes attempt suicide. Have you tried going in the ocean, devil fruit user? How'd that one go for you? Also, I love the moment where someone was like, Jack is a fish man, and I went, what? He is?
No.
When did they establish that? And it's like, he was just at the bottom of the ocean, not dying. I was like, I'm gonna be honest, man. I thought that was just Oda going, look how strong this guy is. He can hold his breath for a week because it's Oda.
Now, technically, Jello, I'm not sure if Kaido would drown because he has the fish model dragon fruit. So technically, he might have gills.
Bro, I feel like nothing about Wano works. And then Kaido is like, no, I'm so famously strong. My defense stat is maxed out. No one can get me. And then, like,
oh, they got me.
And then, like, he's like, only Odin was able to cut me. And then all of the 9 red scabbards cut him. And he's like, what? How is this possible? Oh, you're using hockey like everyone can do in the new world, but they never do. That's shocking. But no one else can cut me. What? How is Luffy hurting me? This is insane. And then, like, also, by the way, the curse of Oda being a coward and not killing off Law due to Doflamingo continues to worsen the story, where it's like, man, Kaido sure is infinitely defensive. If only we had someone who could use a devil fruit to cut past his armor and rip his fucking spine out with something like, I don't know, maybe if there was like some sort of operation fruit, that would be really useful. Anyway, let's have Law fight Big Mom.
No,
that Law's so weird because he went through all of Dressrosa. It's like, I can't fight. I need to save my energy to fight Kaido. And then when they go off to fight Big Mom, he's like, you're wasting my time. We need to go off and fight Kaido. And then they go to fight Kaido and he's not there.
Yeah, it's like, this was Law's story. And like, this is why he should have died during Doflamingo. So like Luffy could pick up the torch.
No, he needs to live so he can use the ultimate power of the Op fruit on Luffy to make him immortal.
I'm so, that's the thing I'm maddest about you definitely being right about, because you said that the first time. I was like, oh, shut the hell up. That was just some dumb thing. Like, that was the equivalent of someone setting on fire in One Piece and Oda going, they're on fire now, be careful.
You know,
and like, you're not supposed to think about it. But then like the longer I thought about it, and like people mention it like 3 more times, I'm like, no, it's gonna matter. This sucks.
No, Jello, you know what they're gonna do? They're not gonna make Luffy immortal. They're going to bring up someone who we thought has been dead for a long time to take over in place of Luffy and make him immortal instead. It's gonna be Gold Roger.
No, Stelly.
Bro, I can't
This is
wait
the
until
Jello.
King Stelly comes. Can you imagine?
I'm waiting for Stelly to just suddenly become one of the most important fucking One Piece characters, and you're gonna have a job for like a couple years.
Stelly,
He's gonna take Emu out and sit on the throne like he
Stelly did his job. His job was being the guy who is the lens to see Reverie through, and now he's done, which is why his only panel at the end of Reverie is getting horny at a picture of Vivi. At least they're the same age.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, what if Law used his power on Brook? How would that even work on a skeleton?
It's me, Panda Man. Amazing.
Luffy, I just found out I'm dying. You need to help extend my life so I can get back to Laboon. Oh, sorry.
No.
All we can do is make you immortal forever. I'll do it.
You see, right? Luffy using Gear 5 is slowly killing him, right?
What isn't slowly draining
Oh,
Luffy's life force?
Yeah, and so in order for him to use Gear 5 again, Law's gonna have to make him immortal, right? And when Law makes him immortal, but Luffy's Devil Fruit is so much stronger than Law's that he's still slowly dying, but at a slower rate. And so send him to the past. This Gold D. Rogers, hear me out.
We talked about this as well. I genuinely think so much of One Piece's legacy is going to be tied up on its ending.
Oh,
and if its
yeah.
ending sucks, I think One Piece's popularity is going to fucking nosedive.
Yeah, it's just recency bias, right? Where it's just like pretty much the point at which a story comes like no longer the creators is when it ends. Once you write down that final period and end the story, you're no longer in control. You cannot redeem it. You cannot do anything. It is gone. And it is in the audience's hands. So the last point is what's fresh on everyone's mind and decides if the whole thing was good or bad, pretty much.
And like, obviously that's the recency bias thing, but at a more fair level, Oda's big problem is he has some interesting ideas, but doesn't execute very well. And a lot of the drive for One Piece is wondering what's going to happen because there are a lot of good ideas. And once there's no more room for those ideas to land, people will not like it. Like, how will you justify the New World to people if the ending sucks? Like, what are you going to be like, well, you should read 700 chapters because Egghead was pretty good. Like, what's the idea?
I'm wondering how people getting into One Piece after the series ends is gonna look, because like you just know that once we find out what the One Piece is, that's all anyone is going to talk about with the series, and
Well,
like you would not be able to go into it not knowing what it is.
Here's what I feel like a shitty author would do. Okay, from this perspective, a shitty author, what's gonna happen is it's gonna be the final chapter, and this is ignoring my fucking Luffy gets teleported in the past bullshit. Luffy gets to the One Piece, he sees it, right? And you know what the final page is going to be? White text, he laughed. And that's it. We don't get to see what the One Piece is. Luffy just sees it and laughs, and that's the end.
I feel like even Oda wouldn't do that. That would be like, because he's like, I know what it is. I think
he's outright said it too. Like he's definitely gone out of his way to confirm that it's not going to be like the friends we made along the way before.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance the ending will be bad. I don't think it will be that flavor of anticlimax.
Yeah.
To me, the gold parentheses Roger ending. And I don't mean, I'm trying to make a pun, not Aloha's pitched ending. To me, the gold ending is the last page is just Luffy and Kobe about to square up for like a smiling rematch fight.
Yeah.
Be like, here's like the next generation has officially started. This is the new Garp versus Roger. It's Luffy versus Kobe. And that would be kind of a nice bookend. And also, I like Kobe. And people did ask since I watched the live action, and Bo's seen it. I don't think Aloha has.
I haven't. No,
I
was
probably
busy
will talk a
reading.
little bit about that.
Yeah, I don't. There's nothing you can say that I don't already pretty much know.
Yeah.
You know, so.
God, is there anything else about Wano?
So how do you guys feel about Mononosuke being aged up with the ripe fruit, and that's how he becomes large dragon?
I think Mononosuke is a worthy addition to the story. I think he's done very badly.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's
a thing that came up a lot throughout was that them time traveling to the future was nothing but a detriment to them.
Yeah, it's all right. So with the samurai, obviously I've got my final cut character list. Kinemon is very high on there. I think he's one of the worst writing choices in all of One Piece, actually. Because, first of all, I'm not convinced yet that there needed to be time travel at all. But if there's gonna be time travel, okay. What you should do is make Kiku the person looking after Mononosuke, and have them show up like 200 chapters later than they do. There's no fucking reason for them to be anywhere in the first half of the New World. They can be on Zhao. That's a good enough starting point.
Like, if
but
anything, have Mononosuke be trapped in Big Mom's book.
Oh, that'd be fun. Yeah, because he's a little dragon. Yeah, good idea. So, like, Kiku, first of all, Kinemon sucks so bad. They have that one joke, which would be a good joke if Kinemon. It's the Wug trio and Dunsparce of One Piece, where it's like, this would be a funny joke about how bad it is if everything else about this gen of Pokemon wasn't so lazy. Where it's like, oh, isn't it funny that everyone misinterpreted this thing as being smart and is giving credit to Keen for something he didn't do? Amazing joke if Kinemon had literally ever one time made the right decision. He does not. Nothing he does accomplishes anything. All of his journey with Mono makes no fucking sense. It's insane they make it to any of the islands that they do, especially Zhao. It's insane they leave, or no, they don't leave Zhao. They never make it there in the first place. It's all very stupid. And then he's the worst. And like, why isn't Denjiro the leader? They joined at the same time, and Denjiro is fucking amazing. And also, Kiku should be the one looking after Mononosuke, because you know who would be a really good person to hide their identity after they time travel to the future? Is the person everyone sees as a man in their, like when they're wearing that cool mask and they look like a demon person, but then they're like, I'm actually a trans girl, so nobody in the present recognizes me because I'm not in my uniform that I wore when I was a sword fighter. And now they just think I'm a normal One Piece girl who can't do anything, so I'm taking care of Mono. And it's like, that's great, because Kiku's fucking excellent. Kiku's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Lost an arm.
Yeah, and it was cool.
It was like, someone took damage in One Piece. It was nice.
Yeah.
I don't know why people are suddenly allowed to die in One Piece starting at Wano. Like, it's a good thing. I'm glad, but it's very weird.
That brings me to,
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing people mention that Ashura dies and being like, it's like, yeah, whatever. And then I read through all of Wano and I just kind of had him like, wait, people said Ashura died at some point. I don't even remember where he was.
Yeah, he died. Don't worry about it. Yeah, but like, it's insane that they're like, now that we've traveled in the future, we can beat Kaido, and then all the other characters who are like have been around training are like, we're still not strong enough to beat Kaido, and here's our infinitely more interesting stories of how we survived. And then Kinemon's like, well, now we can try again. It's like, really? How much stronger have you gotten? Not at all? Cool. And then, I don't know, he's able to cut Kaido right out of the gate. So, like, what was the problem? Why didn't anyone assassinate Kaido? I don't know what's going on. Why did they want... Why the raid on the island? Why is the best time to fight someone when literally all of their forces are gathered together? Is that not actually the fucking worst time to launch a fight? Like, all you have to do is kill Orochi and Kaido. It's... Everything about Wano sucks, is what I'm saying. It's just like, look, Oda just wanted to tell a samurai story, and if you examine any gear in the clock, you realize it doesn't tell time. It doesn't fucking work at all.
I really want to see Oda tell a different story, because like being shackled to like one creative thing for so long is just like kind of like, it's like, man, like man, what if Oda did make some like spy thriller kind of like series, right? Like, it'd just be cool. But it's just like he has to like fit everything he likes in the one creative thing he has, which someone mentions earlier, where it's just like Oda has had the ending plotted out since the beginning, and it's this thing of like, yeah, that's a good thing to have when you start, but it's just like if you keep adding more and more just random shit from like, you know, spur of the moment, then that ending that you had pre-planned probably should change too, right? Because it's just like, you know,
absolutely,
like writing One Piece for so long, right? And then needing like a breath of fresh air by making a samurai arc out of nowhere, pretty much, right? Like, and all this other, like, you know, other shit, right? It's just like that ending hopefully is still like viable at the end of like
and it's
all the stuff.
And it's like, you definitely want to know the trajectory of your story if it's this large, but like at the same time, like I definitely get the sense that Fishman Island was vaguely plotted out when he started writing One Piece, and like that didn't go well. One
of my biggest things about One Piece is that when it came out, it was obviously good, and obviously when it started, it was good. But as time goes on, and due to shonen manga specifically also being such a competitive market, people came out with new series where they read One Piece, took the things that were good, put it in that, and then also done everything else better than One Piece, right? And so it's just this funny thing where shonen manga itself has outpower scaled One Piece as a story, while Oda still is this early 2000s author in this now fucking 2020s world of manga.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
This is also Orochi's on my cut character list. I don't understand why he exists. His rise to power makes no sense. The fact he met Odin ever doesn't make, like, it doesn't matter, because he just uses two powers that like already existed, where people are like, we can lie, we can just do exactly the Bon Clay thing we did in Alabasta, and I'll be like, you are the king now, which like, nope, no one would be okay with that. Don't know how that happened. Nobody investigated anything. And then Odin shows up and is like, I will stop you, because of course. And he tries to punch, but there's a barrier man. Oh, I forgot to put the barrier man on the cut characters list. He has to go on there. He's there, and it's like, my barrier's really strong. And it's like, hey, this is Odin. He's like strong enough to kind of go toe to toe with an emperor. Yeah. So I don't think 98-year-old barrier man who has a power that we know has a finite limit would be able to stop this. But like, clearly Oda was like, fuck, why wouldn't they just kill Orochi? Shit. And it's like, you know what would have made this work? If just Kaido came and took over the country and was like, this is my country now. Because it's not like it's not like Kaido is the shadow like leader or anything. Everyone knows he's the real power behind the throne.
And Foxhouse says that Bardo's barriers got broken by Doflamingo's henchmen. Yeah.
It didn't help that after introducing that there was a girl who had Bon Clay's powers, that twice they did the bit of Kanjuro conjuring a little fake Odin to be like, guys, it's me, I'm back. Both times I literally thought, oh, it's that woman. Wait, no, she's dead.
She got killed off screen, don't you remember? And then nothing works. Then Kaido's like, I need someone to run Wano, and it's like, how about you, man? Why not you? Like, it's not like Orochi is doing the day-to-day bureaucratic shit. Like, he's just a figurehead. Why don't you be the figurehead? Why does Orochi exist? And then they're like, it's Orochi's from this cursed clan. It's like, what did the clan do? And it's like, oh, I don't fucking know. They like tried to assassinate a daimyo once or something. No, we're not going to go into it. He's super mad at the whole world for being mean to him. And it's like, I mean, he got taken in by Yasu. It doesn't seem like they're that mean to him. No, they're really mean to him. And it's just this completely underbaked character. And then he like dies and then doesn't die. And I was like, oh, they're doing this because Mono's sister is gonna beat him. Cause like I'm a writer, and I was like, well, at least that makes sense. And I was like, wait, this is One Piece. And then he's like about to kill her, and then Denjiro teleports in front of her because she's a woman and defeats him. Like,
God.
why do we do any of this? Sorry, go ahead.
I'm glad that a clan that tried to kill the daimyo is the bad guy in this story, where most forms of power, like the Marines and everything, are the bad guys.
God, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Maybe Orochi's the good guy. No, not that far, but it's just like, I don't know.
Oh, and that no, so I have another really big problem with Wano, but I'll tell you, there was some discussion questions we posted on the Patreon, and one of them was, what is the one thing you would change about One Piece? And my answer ties into that, so I'm gonna save that for later rather than talk about it twice. Do we have anything else about? Oh, I guess Yamato exists. Yamato should be cut. That's my only thought on Yamato.
Yeah, it's like everything I see about Yamato. Yamato is cool. Their design is great. Obviously trans rep, but it's just like Kiku.
Kiku's better.
Kiku's
like
better.
not to pin two trans icons against each other, but also like Kiku is a way better character, and I'm kind of mad that Yamato is getting the big way more presence in the fan base.
Both are good. I just think Oda does not utilize Yamato as much as like he could have, because like Yamato shows up in the second part of like our like read through, where it's just like we read majority of Wano and then cut it in the second part. Yamato doesn't show up until the second part, so it's like.
And then all Yamato does is run around with Mononosuke, fulfilling Mononosuke's character arc, which is what Keen should have been doing since he was the dad figure. Or in a better written story, that's what Kiku might have been doing. But like, I hate that Oda always has this need to like have a disaster tied to the final boss fight. It's like, you don't just have to beat Enel. Enel's thunderstorm will wipe out the whole island. Oh, you don't just have to beat Hody Jones. The Ark will wipe out the whole island. You don't just have to beat Kaido. This will wipe out the whole island. Like, it's just like, if this isn't going to be thematically tied to anything, and if it doesn't fucking matter, don't do it.
Dude, you have to beat Frieza before Planet Namek explodes.
It'll take 5 minutes, I'm sure.
Yeah, only 50 episodes.
Yeah, no, like, I don't dislike Yamato. He just doesn't do anything. And also, Bo brought up a fucking hilarious point, which is that Yamato doesn't know anything about Odin until he sees Odin boiling to death, and he's like, yo, that's me, kin.
And literally only later, when he gets thrown in jail for saying it, that he finds the journal and needs someone to teach him how to read.
You don't have to beat Crocodile, you also have to stop the bomb. That one's good. That one makes perfect sense, because it's part of the fuck up the country plan, rather than the villain going, I'm really bad. I'm not just bad. Look at how much bad will happen. Like, that's part of Crocodile's plan for stopping the war so he can assume control of the country. It actually works there.
Not only do I want to kill all humans and cause fucking Fishman's super master race, also I want to be
king of the pirates.
Yeah.
I kind of like love that moment in a perverse way. It's just so transparently awful that it's like, wow.
Like, in Naruto, spoilers at the end, where Sasuke's like, maybe I want to be Hokage, and everyone looks at Sasuke and goes, shut the fuck up. She's like, shut up, you can't say that.
There's a great image where, like, after Sasuke's the worst character in manga history for a huge chunk of it, by that I mean like 98% of it, and he just does the worst stuff to everyone all the time. There's a great fan collage of Sasuke saying like, well, I guess that's behind me now. He has like a one sentence like, okay, I'm a good guy again. And someone has like that panel, and then they've made a huge image of that panel with that in the center, and then all of his war crimes superimposed behind him. It's so funny.
That's great. But yeah, I think that's like, I can't remember anything else about Wano really. There's like this like the underwater area of Wano that like Robin discovers.
Luckily, it was preserved because it wasn't seawater. You can keep something underwater for 800 years. It'll be fine as long as there's no salt in it, including books, apparently. Trust me.
Yeah, like,
and that was where I was thinking that Kaido did know about the weapon, because he makes some reference to like, yeah, Jack is a fishman, so he saw when he was down there, and it's like, why was he down? I guess to make the weird elevator thing they have to go up into Wano. Shrug.
And so that was neat. Oh yeah, there was Robin's transformation, which
stupid.
Is like
fucking stupid.
It's like it's not foreshadowed, which is like
that's my favorite thing. Stupid back out of they clearly. This was a theory my cousin told me before I read, and I was thinking about it the whole time. Of they're teaching her what is clearly the technique where you backhand upstrike someone in the nose and it drives a bone into their brain.
Yeah.
And that was the clearest case of the editors being like, you can't show that. People will die. You can't show that.
And it's like, okay,
now she's a demon.
A large demon who does a hold.
But Robin actually did something. Did she? Like, if I can delete, I mean, yeah, she was on screen, but like, God, I'm not. We should be feasting on Robin being the obvious best character, and like, I'm not taking the crumb we get after 800 chapters of her doing nothing.
The like Sanji like calling for Robin because he knows Robin can handle it is like good in concept, but it's just like, I don't know.
I feel like it happened too fast.
Oh my God, I just got destroyed by Zach Radio chat. Sorry. I actually misread this to something even more savage, which is, what did you like in the back half of One Piece, Jello? Certified Brook enjoyer. Dude, I have these like little character cards that I was like writing out because I like to waste my own time of like pluses and minuses. And my pluses for Brook are like, I really like Brook starting in Whole Cake onwards. I think he's really funny and his gags get good all of a sudden. And then one of the minuses, among others, is Brook takes so long to get good that if I say I like Brook and someone hasn't finished One Piece, I look like I have bad taste.
Yeah.
She fought the woman specifically designed to fight her. Yeah, it's like, I don't know, like, it's just Robin is such a good character. It's just like, it's the Yamato situation where it's just like Oda just doesn't know how to use them. You know, it's like, it's sad. Legitimately, did Frankie have a fight? Dude.
He drove a tank around? ?
Well, he does like a suplex thing, and this is one thing I told you guys, and I don't know if I told the audience. It's weird how suddenly at some point Frankie started doing a lot of wrestling moves around Dressrosa, and that's 100% so he can have a wrestling match with like Jesus. Like I know that sounds funny.
Oh my God, you're right.
The character named Jesus, the wrestler guy from the Blackbeard Pirates.
You know, the one with the strong fruit.
Yeah, the guy with the strong fruit.
And Vegapunk isn't just a smart guy; he has the brain fruit. Like, what a way to undermine all your characters and their agency.
Sorry,
it's
dude.
So dumb.
My ass isn't naturally as fat. I just have the ass fruit.
I've got the cheek fruit.
Yeah.
clap.
Yo. But fucking but the interlude between Egghead and Wano I think is really cool because like it fixes my biggest complaint with One Piece, which is put the camera on someone else other than Luffy, right? Like seeing Vivi and Waffle leave Reverie, right?
Like everything, this is the shit I'm talking about with the espionage stuff, and that being Oda's strong point, is like everything that happens at Reverie super interesting. Fucking Morgan taking Wapple and Vivi as like that's amazing. That's like such a golden Kamui development of a new character party. I'm all about it. And then all the shit with Sabo is interesting. It's great.
It's really interesting, and just the whole stuff about like seeing Emu and then like, oh, they can erase islands, and that probably being related to the fact of like Water 7, like the water level rising, right, which is like happened in Water 7, you know. And so it's just like in that case, can you assume that in Water 7, when that giant wave was coming, they just got done erasing an island?
That would be really cool.
Right? Like,
I'd be down for that. So no, still saving it. This is the last point I want to talk about. Keep going. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And so that whole stuff with Reverie and all that was like really interesting. Oh,
sorry, Veradragon just saying, and the massive hole over which Ennis Lobby is built is one of those. That's really cool. I didn't think about that.
I forgot about that shit. Yeah, like
Law and his crew getting gender bent. Yeah, I don't know what that was.
Look, man,
that made it onto the poison list.
Yeah, look, man, like. I have nothing to say. I'm trying to remember like stuff that's between like Wano and Reverie, because it's just like, I don't know, Sabo's cool. I like Sabo.
I do like Sabo. Yeah, Aloha, I gotta say, you being like, I love Beppo, what a cool little guy, made me go, that's great. I'm gonna keep an eye on Beppo so that anytime I see Beppo doing something cool, I can screen cap it and send it to Aloha.
He does nothing.
And then I never did that.
Yeah, Beppo could, like, dude, Beppo stonks it. When Law dies from making Luffy immortal, Beppo's gonna become the leader of the Heart Pirates, and then he's gonna be one of the 4 emperors, and you're gonna laugh because
if Beppo becomes a 4 emperor, he will be deposed in one day. He cannot do anything.
No, dude.
Wait, Beppo was funny in the Film Red movie. Hang on, right before we talk about Egghead being pretty good, I had Bo. I haven't seen Film Red, but I did have Bo explain some of it to me, and in my head I was like, Film Red's probably a movie where they meet Shanks' singer daughter, and she's like an ally who like maybe bumps elbows with Luffy in a way where they're like a little sour towards each other, but then at the end it's like, we're friends, and they sing a song or something, and then they leave, and there's like some other villain, like maybe it's a Charlotte sibling we didn't see, and instead apparently she's just a bad version of Lorelei Prison of Plastic, and then she fucking dies at the end, which I'm floored by that. I just want, and then I was like, but it's not one of those canon movies, right? Like, it doesn't matter. And then you were like, I think it might be. And then yes, Uta gets one panel in One Piece, where it's like, yes, hard canon. Shanks abandoned his daughter and then took her away in a fucking coffin.
Yeah, and so like,
Film Red isn't canon, then why is it in the manga?
Why is there a panel where Shanks is thinking about all of his loved ones around the world getting hurt, and then there's a silhouette of Uta in the mix there?
It's so funny because legitimately, like, we looked that up and people were like, it's impossible to say what happens to Uta at the end, and it's like, bro, they are literally taking her away in a coffin while crying. What, you think she's just doing the Mihawk style of floating around in a coffin? Like, that's just a fashion statement.
Like, Beppo, didn't Beppo like randomly transform into his like super Beppo mode without the moon being up?
Yeah.
Oh, did he? I don't remember.
Yeah, that was within all of the right after the gender bending stuff, which Law fixes with willpower, because that's how you cure illnesses.
Dude, I wish I could trans my gender with willpower.
Shoutouts to fucking Shanks. I mean, he sucks obviously because of the Uta stuff, but like, he did murder Captain Kidd, which like, that's worth a lot of points in my book.
Just fucking, dude, imagine just like biting a little more than you can chew, man. Like, oh man, like, I'm trying to remember. There's that, there's the like other general guy, the admiral, that shows up.
He literally just exists to be like, remember how the Straw Hats got fucking murked by a general before? Well, here's what level they're at now, because even their allies can do it.
Well, Jello, he has that forestry powers, and in the 4 gods, there's the sun god, the rain god, the earth god, and then the forest god. And
all right, thanks for coming to book club.
I'm going
everybody.
to assume that there's going to be a secret 5th one, and that's going to be Blackbeard's power, which is the god of void.
And it's going to be like, that's why he can't sleep, because he eats dreams or something.
I don't know. Well,
you remember how they mentioned twice that Blackbeard can't dream, and that hasn't come up yet? It's gonna.
He can't sleep, and his powers aren't because of his devil fruit. He just has a weird body.
What? He's the first one, the first character where he can't just be interesting and have weird shit going on. It isn't a devil fruit this time.
Yeah. Like, and yeah, I can't remember like what else like cool happens between Egghead.
Don't you get it, Kid? Jello Kid is actually a fishman. He'll be fine on the ocean floor for a week. Kid turning out to be part fishman would be no less surprising to me than Jack being a fishman.
Yeah.
The arm that Shanks cut off had his fishman traits.
I don't remember. Two people have said the Wood General was super racist. I didn't notice, but to be honest, my eyes were just sort of glazed over because I know he didn't matter.
I didn't notice either.
And then they do the thing where they're leaving without saying goodbye again because, I don't know, Oda has a fetish for leaving people behind without telling them. It's a sex thing for him.
Nice. Yeah, and I think that's pretty much. Are the others VODs? The other VODs are supposed to be like. Okay, sorry, I thought that was a question. Yeah. Look at the pin. This one's free. If you want the others, go on the Patreon. The free is out of kindness, nothing else. Oh yeah, Aokyoji Aokyoji shows up as official Blackbeard.
Your favorite character?
Member. I fucking hate it. Basically, that made me hate Garp even more because
Garp is pretty irredeemable.
My whole cope with Garp was Garp is not strong enough to make a difference, and then he just punches a fucking giant crater, and I'm like, oh, so you're powerful all along. So you could have just freed Ace from those shackles. We already covered year 5. Free Ace from those shackles, right? And he didn't. And then I was like, okay, you're fucking awful. And then, like, Kobe does his stuff, and I'm like, Kobe. I grab him by the shoulders. I look him in the eye, and I'm like, Kobe, stop being a fucking Marine, please. Jesus Christ. God, please.
Kuzan joining Blackbeard's crew is just showing that if you are someone in a position of power who doesn't give a shit about any kind of moral, you just join a fucking supervillain at some point, I guess.
I love that after that, they're like, hey, Sakazuki, one of our ex-admirals joined Blackbeard. Is that going to be a problem? And he's like, no, they can't blame us for what old Marines are doing, which is like so funny because this is the same government that was like, we can't show we messed up and didn't execute Ace on time. Otherwise the people will lose faith. It's just like, man, Kuzan and Garp are really just immune to any consequence because Oda wants us to think they're cool guys.
Dude, but you know what also happened in that little segment? Absalom's dead. They fucking killed him.
That was great. Listen, man, fucking Blackbeard's pirates over here killing all the characters I hate. Maybe they're the good guys, actually.
Maybe, you know what? Maybe you got a point there. I don't know. The sword guy that's like second in command for no reason, having like the invisibility fruit. And then like a sword stuff, it is gonna be like, Zoro, you can't fight me, you can't see me. And it's like, I don't need to see, all I need to do is cut. And then he'll like cut an island in half.
Probably.
Yeah, and there you go. The island fruit, yeah. Like, and that's, oh yeah, the Perona crumbs. God bless Perona, I love Perona. And then there's the Cross Guild.
Yeah, that's great.
I love Buggy, man. Like
Buggy's fucking great. Buggy, Croc, and Mihawk are all high tier characters.
That's a great collection.
It's such a great collection. I can't wait for fucking Mihawk and Crocodile to suddenly get gaslit into thinking Buggy is actually competent.
Do you think Doflamingo is in prison reading his newspaper and getting like a little bit pissed off that according to the paper, Crocodile rejected him but joined Buggy the Clown?
Dude.
Guess you weren't silly enough.
She's like, I was pretty fucking silly.
I thought I had my joke,
and he left me for a
yeah, you beat me to it.
No true One Piece polycule.
Buggy pulling out at the balls and following his dreams again is actually great. It genuinely is. It's such a good scene. Like, Buggy's one of those characters who is excellent every time he's around. I love Buggy the Clown.
Yeah, he's so good.
Doflamingo will break out of jail to kill Buggy.
No, dude, imagine if the Chop fruit got like awakened Paramecia powers.
I fucking hate awakened fruits. They're so stupid.
Because imagine, right?
It'd just be what Doflamingo did to the
yeah, pretty much.
So it's just like, imagine Doflamingo comes up and she's like, you think you're a funny guy? Well, I'm a funny guy. And then fucking Buggy just goes Ligma balls and cuts him in fucking 20 pieces.
So, like, I want to throw this out there that if I can't say what series this ending would remind me of, because it's a substantial spoiler. Mm-hmm. But if Buggy ends up claiming the One Piece, I think that's the best ending possible, and I'm not joking. And I think there's a chance that could happen, actually, where like it's like something that's not treasure, like it's something interesting, and Luffy finds it first, and then Buggy gets there, and he's like, "You can have it, Buggy," and Buggy's like, "What the fuck do you mean?"
You said I had a big nose. Oh man. Yeah, and so now we're on Egghead, which is actually a lot of fun. Julie Bonnie is very interesting. Luffy just kind of like, I don't know, seeing this future island and finally interacting with Vegapunk, and Vegapunk's like 7 children that are also him, but not.
I have never been more excited for One Piece than the scene where the fucking thing opens up and hot broken-legged girl is like, I'm Vegapunk. I was like, oh, this is the first time I've been excited for One Piece in 5 years. I'm so happy.
Yeah. Jinbei rocking the Hawaiian shirt like a true uncle. Yeah.
I love, Jinbei. It's such a shame Jinbei's so badly written to facilitate Fishman Island, because he's so good outside of that.
Yeah,
I really like.
He's just like, oh, just leave. It's fine. Luffy's fine. And Nami's just like, what the fuck you just say? And he's like, whoa. Oh.
Whoa. Sorry, I made you a slave. Let's not unpack that at all.
Conqueror's hockey. And it's like, no. It's just this.
Yeah, but yeah, no, Egghead's really fun. I like the location. I like all the outfits. I like the Vegapunk designs that aren't robots.
Yeah.
I like the little, I actually like the stakes of them needing to like escort him out and all these powerful characters showing up and being a problem. Kizaru's there. I like Kizaru.
Yeah.
I like York being a villain. I think that's fun.
Fucking
I wasn't expecting that.
It's a good twist, and it like, and then you see it and you're like, oh yeah, she's like the glutton. She's a glutton for power. That makes perfect sense, actually.
I love her design a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Rob Lucci.
Rob Lucci.
It's me, Rob Lucci.
I love, my favorite thing about Rob Lucci showing up again is that Oda took my advice and was like, you know what? Everyone in CP9 sucked except Kaku. Here's a new girl who's actually kind of interesting in her own way. I like Sussy, and fucking, and then Rob Lucci has to be there because he has a contract. I can't fire him.
But I do think Rob Lucci is pretty interesting there.
I like that now. His vibe is just, hey, I'm Rob Lucci enough that I'm kind of all right with him.
No.
Someone was like, now that Rob Lucci is a jobber, he is funny. Yeah, that's a good word to describe it.
It's just seeing Kaku, and then he's just like talking to the bird, and they're like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's just like, sorry, just got orders. And it's just like, is the bird ordering you around? I love that the bird is still there and like wearing a mask.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, who is that mysterious bird on his shoulder?
Yeah, and it's not done yet, but the Kuma flashback has been thoroughly very good so far. This is actually another thing I would complain about with One Piece, is that I think Oda wants to keep things a secret in a way that Oda reminds me of a GM who has like, or like a player who has thought of this really cool secret backstory for their thing. And it's like, once you know what this is about, all my actions will be so interesting and make sense. And it's like, hey man, this campaign's going to be 200 hours long. Are you actually wasting my time and making your character worse by not telling me about it? Because like, sometimes it's better to know things earlier. Like Kuma's more interesting and tragic if we get his stuff and the revolutionaries earlier.
It's like how
yeah.
after Ace died, that's when we get the Ace Sabo Luffy flashback.
Yeah, and it's like
died.
here's all the stuff about Ace. Yeah, that Sabo I think is the biggest one. Like, there's no reason we couldn't have known about Sabo the whole time. Like,
or like imagine like if like in like certain arcs, like in Water 7, like Zoro and Usopp interacted with Sabo and not Luffy, and then it's just like when he didn't remember anything, right? And then it's just like when he shows back up again, it's like, oh wait.
I'd even be down for like, yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
I'd even be down for just like that brief time Ace shows up in Alabasta.
Yeah.
Like he and Luffy are like, they even mention casually because somehow it comes up where it's like, yeah, no, we got to live our freest because like, you know, we all die young or whatever. Like we had this brother and he exploded. Like just one mention, like, and I don't mean an Oda mention. I don't mean one panel. I mean like a chapter to like very quickly be like, here's the thing that happened to us. That would be cool because then instead of then it would have been like, oh, Sabo, rather than here's Ace too. And in fairness, Sabo's way better than Ace is, so I guess.
Yeah.
But like,
someone says Kuma hasn't been integral enough to any previous arcs to really stick his backstory anywhere. I mean, he showed up at the end of Thriller Bark. He shows up in Paramount.
Yeah,
War,
I don't think that's
right?
fair. I think Kuma's
like,
had a lot of screen time.
Like at least like a little bit more hinting and talking about him because all like. I think they do mention him a lot and call him like a tyrant king and like, you know, build him up as some weird fucking freak, and then but also he like shows a lot of compassion and saves like the Straw Hats in like a lot of cases.
It'd be fun if they play more into like people who knew Kuma before he agreed to become a pacifista were like horrified by him.
Yeah, Kuma's not like, it's not his fault. It's I think the surrounding narrative.
Yeah.
Also, just like little things like he's a robot now, which is super fucked up. But then like Sakazuki punches his head open and like blood comes out. It's like, at least you still bleed like a man. It's like, why does he bleed like a man? Also, you hit him with magma. There should not be any blood coming out. That should be a cauterized open brain.
Yeah, like, and
make a punk voice. I made him bleed because it would be funny.
Yeah, and it's just like I like Kuma. I like all the stuff about it, like the slave game where they mentioned like the Azure Dragon Fruit, right? And that's how like Kaido got it, which is a neat little like thing. I don't think it's really needed because obviously it's not like Kaido has any like relevancy, and he's already gone. So it's just like, but it's cool how like Ivanka or whatever the person's name is almost
Ivankov.
ate. Yeah, Ivankov nearly ate like the Azure Dragon Fruit. Imagine that timeline. But just like the entire the disease, all that story, but the disease that Jewelry Bonnie's like mom had is like something. I don't know exactly what to think about it, and I wonder what exactly it is, right? Because obviously I don't think it's something like that has been mentioned beforehand.
No, I don't think so.
You know what would be cool?
Yeah.
If it's something to do with the celestial dragons, and like that's the sleeper reason why they all wear the suits. They think it's to keep them from breathing the same air as common folk, but if you crack that shit open while they're out in the sunlight, suddenly
that'd be
that causes it to happen.
interesting. Sure, yeah, okay.
Because like obviously obviously Bonnie's mom doesn't have celestial dragon blood, but Bonnie does. Right.
It was transmitted to her or something like that.
Well, it's implied that Jewelry Bonnie isn't Kuma's daughter.
No, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Is it? Sweats.
Yeah.
Wasn't paying enough attention, apparently.
She was pregnant when she came back from being
a slave for 2
wife.
years. Yeah.
Oh, is that why he's allowed to actually be a pretty good father figure to her?
Yes.
It's not biological.
Yeah.
You think there's biological parents in One Piece?
Yeah.
It's specifically dads. There's no good biological fathers in One Piece except fucking Capone.
Oh god, Capone.
Yeah,
Don't worry,
true.
he's gonna die soon.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna have One Piece Shippuden about his son.
What a strong move, honestly.
Oh,
yeah,
dude.
I like Egghead. I think it's cool. I'm also I'm excited. Stick with me. Someone asking, how do we feel about Saturn? I'm excited one of the elders is showing up now because that means he'll be defeated now and we won't have to deal with like all 5 of them as different fights. And I like that. Like that's smart, actually.
Someone said this line that made me laugh. It was like, we're gonna find Big News Morgan delivers all the babies. No one is blood related.
I've got big news for you. Gives you a baby.
Oh man. But no, it's just like it's interesting. Obviously there was like some stuff about how Saul the giant that Robin was friends with is alive.
Fucking like, awful, by the way.
Yeah, it's something. I obviously we don't know what that fully is going to amount to yet, but like it is just like, wow, another person who doesn't die in One Piece. Cool.
Yeah. I think there's been a few moments where LKG was like implying that or something, and it just bad.
Yeah, but like Robin doesn't know he's alive, so it just makes him look like a bigger asshole. God, hang on. Bo had an amazing joke to follow that up, where I was once again talking about how One Piece Lorelai dies in the movie, which is just so. We said, "Dude, I'm floored. How is that her role? How does she die? Can you fucking imagine if Lorelai died at the end of Prison of Plastic?" And Bo says, "The only doctor in the world that can cure her would be one better than Chopper, Heroic, who didn't die and secretly joined the Shanks crew, obviously."
God.
Ironically, he perfected the cherry blossom recipe, but she's allergic and dies.
Someone says it was foreshadowed. The move was literally called Ice Time Capsule. Damn.
Whatever, man.
I will give you that. It's like what we were talking about earlier. It was foreshadowed, not well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone who gives Spandam a Buster Call is a terrible person. That's what I'm saying, right?
That's true.
But maybe.
So when do you think it'll be? When do you think it'll be revealed Kuina is still alive? Kuina is Emu.
Oh man, I still think the bird on Rob Lucci's shoulder is Emu.
If Emu is anyone we've met before, that sucks, in my opinion. Emu should just be a new character.
No, it's just they're gonna have showed up in the background like 50 times. Been drawn in the background like 50 times, and then you're gonna be able to look through the series and find out all those panels because
Panda Man.
Emu is connected to all birds and bird-related things. That's why there's so many women in One Piece named after birds. Robin was a sleeper agent. She doesn't even know it.
Emu is a bird that hatched from the egg that's being carried around on Gold Roger's ship.
Oh my god. Please.
The word... I will only allow myself to be carried around the world in my palatial chariot, this big Yoshi egg.
Yeah, I do have to say I'm disappointed with how Gear 5 is like handled, because it's just like how they handled Gear 4, where it's just like, oh, now Luffy is tired and now we have to like timer scam it and wait for him to recharge, right? It's just like lame. It's the same thing again, which is like lame, and I wish it was like more of like, okay, Luffy, activate Gear 5 again, and he's like, I can't. Sorry.
I wish Gear 5 turned One Piece into a gag manga, and its weakness is that other people can play along with the gags and out Bugs Bunny Luffy. I think like that's the reason I like Gear 5 is because it's not just a big dumb stupid power. It's like it turns it into a gag manga, which is an amazing ability, and like the less serious One Piece takes itself, the better it always is.
Yeah. That's the thing where it's just like, I've always talked about how I wish Luffy was less about being angry and punching the bad guy hard, and was more just like what you think Joy Boy would have been.
The only way I know how to fight is serious.
Yeah.
One of the worst, like, stupidest panels.
You know?
Yeah,
Jello, that is a fight in Jujutsu Kaisen. Bro, I watched 3 episodes of Jujutsu Kaisen and I was so fucking bored by it, I gave up.
God, thoughts on Luffy being Joy Boy? I mean, it's obvious.
It doesn't mean anything. Like,
yeah.
Legacy storytelling is fucking stupid. Reincarnation stories are fucking stupid. Oh, Zoro is the spitting image of the dead guy who worked with that fox that used to turn into a Daruma and steal swords. Don't you care? No. I don't care about any of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
someone
there was
in chat.
there
Hey,
was
chat.
a.
Oh, yeah, go on.
I was just gonna say with Gear 5, there was a moment where he was fighting Lucci where I realized afterwards that it was Lucci's thought bubbles, but there was a moment where it's just over a panel of Luffy fighting where it's like I can feel my mind slipping away, and I thought that was Luffy for a minute, and that would be interesting
Yeah.
if it was like his awakened devil fruit is literally Nika possessing him, and slowly he is losing himself to becoming Nika or whatever.
Yeah. It's I'm trying to think about what else in Egghead, because Egghead is obviously short. Oh yeah, there's all the pacifista stuff where they took the blood of the warlords.
Bro, I do not like this. I do not like Baby Boa Hancock. None of the vibes there are okay.
Everything
Yeah.
about it is creepy.
Yeah. Fucking child Jinbei. Look at the guy. He's so little tiny, a little cute guy.
The first time he showed up, I literally posted him in a clip of a fucking chow noise and just because he's adorable.
Yeah. Here's the when we were talking about Saul being alive. I was just like yeah, and then Saul's alive, and Jello was like, what? I don't remember that. And then like Bo's like, yeah, here. And it's just like, yeah.
Yeah, literally like 2 pages later.
Listen, my editor brain will like see things and go no and delete them.
Yeah.
I had to hunt down the proof that Bonnie is 12 too.
Yeah, like what else is there? Because like I like so the Vegapunk guys I like is like Shaka, the one that shows up first, who I think is like Lilith. There's the Desire one. I don't like the ones that look like Sonic the Hedgehog, like Robotnik robots.
Yep, we're on the same page.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember like really like the other ones besides that. But
that's all of them, I think. There's
six
Shaka,
of them.
Lilith, York, Pythagoras.
Yeah.
Atlas is the one that should be voiced by
Atlas,
Jula.
little baby.
Oh
big
yeah,
baby.
that one. Yeah. The Daft Punk one is cool. That's Shaka. Yeah, Shaka's pretty neat. I hate that Vegapunk has the brain fruit, because like why can't he just be talented and be like silly that his brain grows?
He's literally just like a One Piece character design.
He's just
also,
like me for real.
Can it not? Can he be wrong when he's like, my theory is that devil fruits are a manifestation of alternate ways humanity could have evolved based on people's desires? And it's like, who wanted the smoothie fruit? Who wanted to milk another person by twisting their body and drinking their flavor? Like, I'm sure someone did, but like, why am I seeing it? I want someone to wear
me like a jacket.
I want someone to wear me like a jacket.
I mean, I can imagine. I can definitely imagine someone being like, imagine if my boogers could explode.
And then, can you? We all know that 20% of humanity are constantly like, God, I wish I could turn into rocks or slide through the ground, which is why there's 5 different devil fruit that do that.
Yeah, and like, if there were only 5 flying devil fruit, if they were based on human desire, then there should be, I mean, that's probably why there's way more flying devil fruit, but why would there be 5? Right? Way more people want to fly than turn 20 tons. You know what
I would believe more than it's alternate ways that humans developed or whatever? If it was like manifestations of the dreams of children, like something like that.
Yeah, specifically that. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, someone mentioned it earlier, we missed it, but one good thing about Wano, the dinosaurs being like, this is how dinosaurs work, joke. That's funny.
Yeah,
it's a good joke.
Yeah, it's like how Kaku and in Enies Lobby was just like, yeah, giraffes, right? Giraffes do this, and it's like, that's so stupid. No, yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, do we want to talk about our prompt question? I can show our things.
First off, though, Kuma's race is Buccaneer. What the fuck do you think a Buccaneer is?
Can we
It's
stop?
half giant.
Can we stop doing this thing, Oda, where you bring up a concept for the first time and be like, it's so important, the world government has done this to it. It's like, this one wasn't even foreshadowed, even by Oda standards.
Yeah, do you think that Blackbeard's a Buccaneer?
I hope not.
No.
I mean, he has a
I
similar...
hope he's just a guy.
I like the one theory of Blackbeard being weird that I would accept is that he is a failed clone of Rocks. I could see it happening.
I just think he has multiple stomachs like a cow, and that's why he can have multiple devil fruit. But yeah, okay, Jello, we can see your hard work now.
Okay, I'm going to start with the least impressive one because it's not done.
Yeah.
Give me a second, the copy paste is pretty big.
Yeah, it's cool, it's cool.
So their heads are cut off, and I haven't labeled this guy, but this is just this chart that Aloha will be pulling up. This is an average of Bo, Mai, and Aloha's rating of every arc, and this is the x-axis is actually this is the actual manga by length. So, like, you can see I've started with Wano and Egghead over there and stuff. And I split Dressrosa and Wano in half. Like, you can see the blue bit.
Our read-throughs,
Yeah. So we rated everything from 1 to 5, except we also allowed 1 0. I think there was an unspoken rule, and Bo and I used our 0 on Fishman Island, and Aloha used it on Foxy.
Yeah.
It's a little cropped on stream, by the way.
It's a little
I did that on. There's nothing up
like,
there.
Like yeah.
I mean, on the sides.
I mean, like oh yeah. Okay, wait. I have to. Sorry, it's just due to how things are. Yeah, there we go. This is
no problem.
The best we can get. There we go. Yeah.
I'm surprised Wano is so high. I mean, the first half of Wano is fine. It's not.
Yeah.
Someone actually said it really well in chat. They're like, the first half of Wano is better than the second half, but it's not a One Piece story. It's just about some other characters. And the second half of Wano is a One Piece story, and it's bad.
Yeah, and by like so high, it's in the middle. It's a 3. It's average. It's like at best, this is average.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know. And it's just like that is probably, even like with the most generous fucking like thing, that's the highest it would probably be. And then like obviously the next part is like just around a 2, you know.
Dressrosa has a funny little swoop. That's because the instant birdcage happens, it becomes a 1.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel right having it be a full line. I'm gonna do nicer versions of this and put it on Patreon in a big old spicy post at the end of this. But again, if you're here, if you're one of the like 180 extra people chilling at the final session just to hear us talk about something, would recommend we're doing more book club in the future. Join it at the $5. There's so much on the $5 tier on this Patreon. It's a really good deal, actually. At this point, there's like 100 posts. But yeah, like this book club alone is like 20 hours of shit.
Yeah.
So now I feel like might be a good time to talk about the first 2 discussion questions I gave everyone on their worksheets, which is just your favorite and least favorite arc. And obviously you guys in chat can just answer and we can react once there's quite a few. But do we want to do it individually, left to right? You can leave it up on screen. It's the arcs. So like Aloha, Bo,
I just wanted to be able to see chat. Because let me pop out chat real quick to put it on my other monitor, and then I can do that. So let me crop that for me so I can see shit better.
Yeah, so first question is just, which arc is your favorite? Aloha, do you want me to buy you time?
No, I got it.
All
so
right, go ahead.
Which arc is my favorite?
What's your favorite?
It's fucking obvious, bro. It's Water 7.
Like, Water 7.
There's nothing that filled me with more childlike wonder than watching them walk around Water 7 with their duck boats and everything. And one thing Oda's always done good, and like it's such a weird like world building thing, but every place you go has an interesting mode of transportation, right? Like obviously the place in Baroque Works had like the ducks, the Sonic Speed ducks.
And then it's just like Water 7 had the water ducks, and then Sao Body had the bubble cycles, and then just like it really like absorbs you and makes you feel like this culture where it's just like this like Venice-esque like place with like the waterways and the boats and just everything about it. And
yeah, Water 7's very well thought out as a location.
Mhm.
like in the way they introduce the villains just as like normal like boat hands, right? And then it's like later revealed, creates a lot of intrigue, and then it's just like the fake out of stuff like they make you think that Kaku is going to be the one that joins the crew, right? But then in reality, it's Frankie. And while that's not really that great, because they already did that with Vivi and Robin, I still think just like, just the scene of Kaku jumping off the like thing and then being like, oh, who's that? And it's like, oh, that's the Water 7 boat guy. He does boat things. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah, and Fox Owl saying Aqua Laguna is Oda's best timer / plot device. You are correct. It's the best natural disaster.
Yeah.
It really enhances all the craziness going on, especially because the Straw Hats are separated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, Water 7 is pretty much my favorite arc. And while it, like, when Ennis Lobby comes around, it dips a little bit lower. The introduction of Water 7 and just everything about it is just so magical. It feels like when you were a kid watching a Pokemon movie for the first time.
Oh yeah, that's a good comparison.
And being like,
especially the Latios and Latias.
Yeah,
Pokemon
exactly.
movie.
And obviously some of those movies aren't that great, but it's just like the wonder in it, and it's just like you're just like, wow, this is just like I can feel the breeze that I'm here.
Yeah.
Right.
Water 7 also it's the most character driven story.
Yeah, that's for my reason for it, actually.
Are you also Water 7?
Yes. Of course I am.
I am actually not Water 7.
Oh?
All right.
So here, I did pose the question, what's your favorite arc? Water 7 is the best arc of One Piece. I'm not a fucking idiot. But,
Yeah.
My favorite is Alabasta still.
Okay, that's fair. That's respectable. If you
I really like
hit you with a brick.
Wait, what? If I said what?
If you said Foxy, I'd hit you with a brick.
Why the fuck would I do that?
I don't know, to spite someone.
I like Alabasta because Bo and I were just talking about this. Oda really likes to do this thing where it's like, oh, here's the stakes, here's like how this country has gotten into turmoil, but he often doesn't think about how things got there or how people would react. Alabasta for me is the one time I'm watching it like kind of in fear, going, wow, this is such a good plan Crocodile has. He's really put in the work. It's taken years. You can get humans to believe a lot as long as you do it slowly. And I think Croc is the only villain who does that. Like, Doflamingo has the exact same plan as Croc, but he does it in one night. And everyone's like, I guess the king was a really bad guy. And none of the soldiers leak what actually happened. Like, it's ridiculous. It doesn't work at all. And then in Wano, everyone's like, secretly, we all wanted a revolution, but I guess none of us tried or anything, which doesn't work at all.
Yeah, I realized at some point, because I remember with Dressrosa, I had a pitch of the theme of it back when we were discussing what the theme of each arc was. That fell off.
That stopped happening.
Yeah, when we were discussing the theme of it, I was like, the theme of Dressrosa could be gullibility, because everyone here is very gullible, and it's a fault for the dwarves and for no one else. And then going further into Wano, I just kind of realized, like, oh, this isn't a Dressrosa problem.
Yeah,
this is an everywhere problem.
It's an Oda problem. But yeah, I really love Crocodile. I still think Crocodile is One Piece's best villain. He's such a magnificent bitch. He's so funny. But he's just like, yeah, I lied. Why would I give them a chance to have the real key? I like his organization. Alabasta is like not perfect at all. It's got that stupid Luffy and Vivi scene that I fucking hate in the desert that makes no sense. But it is still my favorite. It's, for me, Alabasta feels like the end of when One Piece is on a permanent upswing of writing, where it kind of gets a little better on average as it goes. Like you can see our average there on the screen up to You can see Enel's pants. It's 2 to the left of that. It's that yellow guy. Where it's like, it's kind of like there's a dip, but it's kind of going up. It keeps going up. And then after that, it's like, oh, it could be anything after this. But like, yeah, that period from Alabasta to Jaya is where reading One Piece, like, I really feel like, wow, I could read this forever. Like this dumb romp adventure, and I don't feel that ever again. Water 7's like a breath of fresh air, and then it goes away. Yeah, so that's that. And then I think I know what Aloha's gonna say, but second question, least favorite arc.
You skipped me.
What? Oh, I thought you were Water 7. Am I stupid?
I did, but I didn't get to say anything about it.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought you were like, okay, Aloha got most of my stuff, and then you chimed in a couple times. My bad. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that I like all of the world setup for it, but what I really like about Water 7 is it is the only time in the story that it is character focused, and with that being the drama of it, and it's one of the only times we see the characters like emotions and how they interact with each other. That fucking sucked in Wano when there was the moment with Zoro where he was like, I'm doing this for my best friend. I'm like, when was the last time you fucking talked to Luffy? That's also something the live action does a lot better. There's a lot more like conversations between characters and things they do with each other. It becomes a different story for a while, and it's a story I like better.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, also in Alabasta, everything that happens in Rain Base and the Mr. Prince shit is the best Sanji ever is. Okay, end of thoughts.
Yeah. There's good characters do good things.
Mm-hmm. And so yeah, so least favorite arcs. I fucking hate the Foxy arc. And I know that's like obviously like it's like everyone's just like, why do you hate the Foxy arc? It's harmless, and it's just like it's this thing. When you read manga, chat, you read it because you don't want to watch the fucking anime, okay? You don't want to go through the endless filler arcs, the elongated fight scenes with like fucking, you don't have to watch the opening every single goddamn time or try to fucking snipe where the thing ends, right? I can't believe Aloha hates wacky races. I'd like it if it actually mattered. Chat, if you cut out the Foxy arc, do you miss anything? Could they arrive to the island and just run into fucking Aokyoji and then just keep on moving from that point? Yes, they could. Easily. You miss Aokyoji? I'm talking about after Fox. Aokyoji has nothing to do with Foxy. You just walk up to that house.
Yeah, they're pretty separate.
You walk up to that house, you interact with Aokyoji. It's like a fucking like out of bounds skip in like a fucking speed run. You just clip out of it. Do you miss anything? No.
Why does it have to matter?
Can it be fun? You can have fun in other fucking arcs.
Water 7 is fun. I was just talking about that. It's like it's very the thing that will make me as mad as Aloha is at the Foxy arc is I hate it when a creator, I feel like they're fucking wasting my time. That's why that's why if you watch our Dokapon streams, the reason like I'm so pissed off is because it's like we're not like all the ways we can mess with each other, or like you can't move anymore. Like it's like every problem with Dokapon is it elongates things and wastes time. It's the same with media. I hate it when people just fucking like things are slow and things don't matter. You can do more than one thing writing at once.
It's this thing of, yeah, a lot of people find it fun, but it's just like you could take that energy and like move it forward to the next arc, or have like all this fun time in a plot in like ways that actually forward the plot and character development, right? In Foxy, the Foxy arc actively makes me hate a lot of the characters, right? Because there's a whole like fucking Zoro telling fucking Chopper to man up, right? And that's supposed to be like some cool
God,
like,
that made me so mad.
It's and like, you know, there's all these like in Water 7 in Ennis Lobbies, there's all these themes, right? And like Foxy could have been used, for example, to set those up. but instead it sets up nothing, right? As a writer, he obviously should have known what he wanted fucking Water 7 and Ennis Lobby to be when he was making the Foxy arc, right? And he could have used it to actually make Water 7 better, right?
Yeah, it would have been so easy to be like, use that joke of like, oh, Zoro and Sanji don't like each other and they fight all the time, and like because of their fighting they lose that game and they lose Chopper, which is how it should have started. And like it's like, you know, an arc about like, wouldn't it suck if our crew was separated because we couldn't stop fighting, looks directly at the camera. Wouldn't that be an interesting way to set up the theme of camaraderie throughout the entire Water 7 saga? Like, it's a lot of easy misses in the Foxy arc.
It's a lot of easy misses, right? And it's just like, I have no problem with Foxy. I think Davy back fights in Foxy are interesting concept, but there's no Davy back fights through the rest of the thing. If there's this thing that pirates apparently do, why do we only see one pirate crew do it, right? And it's like, Foxy has interesting powers. Yes, that's fair, right? Like, I feel like Aloha's hate for Foxy is so inversely proportionate how hype he is for the potential Davy back Empire, because that would make the Foxy arc worth it.
Yeah, that would make the Foxy arc good, because then it would have mattered.
There's another Foxy arc like later on that's a filler arc in the anime apparently, right? Like that still doesn't make it worth it. Obviously, that's a filler arc, so it's not canon. Just like the first Foxy arc shouldn't be canon, it doesn't have to be canon, right? And that's like what I'm getting at. It is a filler arc in a manga that could have been used to actually improve the story, be useful while also still being silly and fun. Having things be silly and fun for no reason other than being silly and fun is fine. It's cool. It's not what I like because it wastes my time, right? And most of the time when you're reading manga, you want the pure story. You don't want the fucking filler arc. You don't want to have your time wasted. You can read at your own pace. And I could literally take that volume, cut out the pages of my book, and the story would be just the same. And that's why I hate the Foxy arc. I hate it more than Fishman Island, because Fishman Island actually has things that go forward. And that's why I can give it at least 1 point. While that's I gave Foxy 0.
Not to be a Foxy arc defender, but since it's a discussion, I will say there are some things I like about it, which is I give it a 2 instead of a 0. I really like the if Foxy arc is like a sandwich, and then Aokiji is the fucking gross olive at the end of it that's on a little toothpick. I really like the bread of the Foxy arc. I really like the wacky races start. I think it's a great thing for the silly guys on the little boat to do. I really love Nami in that. Her interactions with Foxy, I think, are very funny. And it's also a really good way to introduce Foxy's power as a threat within the confines of this game. I like, don't worry, this is going to downturn. Don't worry. I like Foxy's powers with Luffy in that fight. I think it's actually one of the coolest looking fights in the series because it's silly power versus silly power, which is Oda's bread and butter, and I wish he knew that. But I hate how serious the arc is taken. I hate how all of the Straw Hats act about the thing and how none of them are willing to cheat. It actively marks the point in the series where I never like Zoro again, which is very sad. And yeah, no, it's again, it's a 2 for me because I do like some of it, but like, man,
if only there was like some arc where there could have like a wacky boat race in this like this town that's about boats and has like waterways or something. I think that would be really cool. And maybe it would be against like, I don't know, the villains that they're fighting, like the CP9, or maybe
or Frankie's family, right?
Yeah, or Frankie's family, which is a fucking wacky racist ass character family.
Man, I hate, like, this is, I was about to say, I bet in the way that I was like, I like Punk Hazard well enough, and you were like, I hate it because put all of it into Fishman Island. I was like, you're right, and then I wouldn't like Punk Hazard. I was about to say, you could very easily, I bet, pitch me all the good parts of Foxy Arc somewhere else, and so he did.
If your manga is going to be 1,000 chapters of fucking crap, at least make it like make it fucking 900 chapters of fucking crap, okay?
That's true.
And there you go. Foxy arc rant. There you go.
So,
Alright.
Bo, what's your least favorite?
My least favorite arc is hold on. I said
They
that
got
and
him. He got sniped.
my earbud physically popped out of my ear.
That's Absalom. Get it?
My least favorite arc is Dressrosa. And Jello can probably get into the birdcage all he wants. My real problem of it is the reason we have a little gift that we fucking weaponize all the time.
I love that gif so much.
Oh, where's the gif? Oh,
There you go.
Oh, yeah, let me...
This is
there's
sexism.gif.
Yeah. Because there is so much wrong with Dressrosa, but the thing that kills it for me is the sexism. It is rank. It is awful. The way that every female character is written in this arc is horrid. Rebecca is awful. Everything about her is awful. Like, there's nothing good about it, and it'll come up down the line. It made me hate Frankie, and it just not recovered from that. With his fight is the most wretched thing. I hate it.
Yeah, I think I asked you guys at one point, like, hey, out of curiosity, if we fused Act 1, 2, and 3 Wano into one thing for this chart, and if we fused Dressrosa into one, what would you give it? And I asked that, to be honest, because I do think in the way that if you mix, like, if you've got like markers and you mix you get some of that black on a yellow marker, it's kind of blacked and ruined forever. For me, if you fuse the two parts of Dressrosa, I do think I give the whole thing a 1. Because it's pretty stinky. You're right. Rebecca is a hot contender for the worst character in One Piece, in my opinion.
Yeah, like it, because it's just like out of all the useless princesses, Rebecca is probably the most egregious. Fucking just, I'm a woman, so
if I were
can't
Violet,
fight.
I would assassinate her for the throne. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, the ending of it pissed me off so bad, where they're just like, Rebecca, you will be the new ruler, and I'm like, your fucking daughter.
Carrot, you are the new king of Zhao.
Like, why? You can't do this. You're just a child. My daughter, who is the same age as my wife was when I married her when I was 10 years older than her.
Yeah. Oh, someone says their least favorite was Zhao, full stop. I can respect that.
That's interesting. That's an interesting pick. I wouldn't expect that, but like also I don't think it's a bad pick.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad pick, really. Yeah.
They need to bring back Genghis Khan. Yeah, I mean, this is One Piece, so he's definitely like around as a grandpa. And if you ask, he'll be king again. That's how One Piece works. There's always a grandpa king.
Genghis
reinstate. Oh, anything else about Dressrosa?
No, I really just wanted to say it stank with the sexism. That's my main point to die on for that.
Hey, Jello. It's me.
Yeah.
Hody Jones.
It's me, Hody Jones.
I'm here to ask, what's your least favorite arc?
My least favorite arc is Fishman Island, just because I think it's a disaster. But like, note that if Dressrosa Birdcage was by itself, like if that and like, because Birdcage has the sexism throughout it also, and Bo is fully right. I would say Dressrosa is probably my second pick. We've already talked about Fishman Island. I'm not going to go off about it again.
One thing I'll say is Foxowl says that their phone is at 1%, and it's been fun doing One Piece, and I'll see you in the VOD in Dungeon Meshi. Foxowl, you've been a great chat member for all this One Piece stuff.
I have legitimately like taken your comments on Patreon and stuff and been like, Foxowl knows what's up. You have good takes, so you're an officially recognized member of the book club. Congratulations!
So thank you for joining the book club, and I look forward to seeing you in Dungeon Meshi. So yeah, good luck. So you can go on. Sorry, I just wanted to acknowledge a chat member.
No, that's Foxowl is way more important. I was literally just gonna say, yep, it's Fishman Island. If my opinions haven't changed and they're not more interesting, and I don't want to talk that long, I'm Hody Jones. You can check out our Fishman Island one on the Patreon if you're interested. So that's that. Let me give you this chart is finished actually, so we can change topics. Give me just a second if you guys want to talk, because I have to go and push to talk, and I can't do it.
Yeah. I'm buying time for Jello. Hey, you in chat. Yeah, you who's viewing this for free. Thank you for coming out. If you like this content and want to see more like it, make sure to subscribe to Jello's Patreon for $5 to get access to all of our previous One Piece book clubs, where you can hear us talk about how Brook is secretly Jesus Christ, and other great numbers such as how Enel is going to show back up by the Purple Admiral, summoning him down from the sky like a meteor.
God. I was gonna pitch too. If they need a god of the earth, what if that purple guy is meteors of just him summoning more earth?
I think there are theories about one of the like council of old men being related to Earth, and I think that leads into your theory about the fact that the celestial dragons are like turning to like rock and shit.
That'd be neat, yeah.
Right, and that's how they're kind of controlling them through fear.
So,
But
yeah, next discussion question is,
yeah.
Who are 5 characters you really enjoyed and why? And I also pasted, we got this, this one is finished. I'm pretty proud of how this turned out. It's our here's our Straw Hat ratings over time. This is averaged from the end of all of our book club things. It's a little hard to parse at this size. It'll be on the Patreon in full, but this is a huge image. This is like 5 megs. And if you asked me where Brook would rank in the average score, I would not have guessed 4th place, but there he is.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Yeah, don't worry. So yeah, 5 characters you really enjoyed and why. A lot of people did the challenge of not putting the Straw Hats on there, which I think is fun. Let's go in the same order. Aloha. And if here's what we'll do. Let's each name one. So like Aloha 1, Bo 1, me 1. And if that way it'll be like newlyweds game. So if we got in the same, we can be like, hey, I've got that one, and we can talk about it together.
So my first one is Sabo.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Anything to say about Sabo?
I thought you guys were gonna name them too. Okay, never mind.
No, sorry.
We
should
You'll
like
give it.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's like, oh yeah, I also had Sabo.
So Sabo is this very interesting character where I expected to hate Sabo, but I find myself every time the camera is in Sabo's POV, I enjoy the story way more than I enjoy it with Luffy. Right. His interactions and his potential for the plot at large, I have no faith in how Oda is going to handle Sabo as a character. But I do think Sabo has a lot going for him as, 1, better ace, 2, the rebellion kind of like representation, right? Because obviously you thought Dragon was going to be like, no, Dragon's just going to be fucking mysterious because, like, much like Shanks, he's going to be scared to show off his powers so he, they don't get outscaled power level wise, right? And so Sabo having like the Dragon Claw, which I assume is going to be Monkey D. Dragon's like special fucking hockey move or whatever the fuck. And the flame powers is just very interesting, and everything we saw of him in Reverie and everything leads me to be very excited for the character, which is
I like Sabo.
Something I can say about most other characters in this show.
Sabo, interesting things happen when Sabo is the point of view character, and one of my Dressrosa notes was, why aren't I watching Sabo and Koala and Hack on an espionage mission?
Legit, yeah.
All right, Bo, why don't you pick one?
Easy choice, it's Nami.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm. I respect it.
I mean, Nami's pretty fucking great.
It's so... obviously you could talk about more about Nami, but Nami's so interesting because like it's just nice I to see like a girl character kick ass sometimes,
She's the one girl who gets to.
Yeah,
exactly.
She genuinely has a lot more fighting than I remembered. Like, if you asked me before this, I'd be like, I mean, she gets that terrible fight with Khalifa, which is like, in my mind, isn't this funny? In my mind, that was the sexism moment of One Piece, and I was like, it's not that bad other than that. And then instead, I do this reread, and it's everywhere. And that fight, I'm like, this is kind of funny, actually, if I'm being honest, because Khalifa sucks so much.
Yeah.
She has the best jokes throughout the series. She kicks ass. Her powers are cool and consistently interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, she is... I don't think there's ever a moment where like she is the reason that I'm mad that something is happening in the story.
Yeah.
Like she's if I'm mad about anything with Nami, it's because something is being done to Nami, Absalom.
Yeah, the worst thing about Nami is that she doesn't get to be the main character of Fishman Island.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like, it's the thing of like, someone messaged in chat. It was just like, do you think if they cut Zoro and gave Zoro screen time to Nami and Robin, would that make them better characters? And the problem isn't that some of them, Robin obviously doesn't get a lot of screen time, but it's the fact that Oda doesn't know how to use them half the time, right? It's like some of the characters like Yamato and all these other stuff we talked about, it's just like, they are good, just Oda doesn't know how to actually use them. And that's why when you look at like One Piece fan content, it's wonderful because it's just like they know how to write Robin and use Robin in funny and interesting ways.
One Piece Straw Hat like comics and fan content are like, it's so clear it's the One Piece everyone wishes was written. Like even like they'll even just take the same dynamics, like the way that like Zoro and Sanji talk to each other, and it'll just be like, this is funnier written by a person who understands how to write like naturalistic comedy dialogue.
There was this comic where they were like the Thousand Sunny was like facing an island, and they had Marines at the back, and they're like, we can't run on land. How do we do it? And everyone's panicking. Robin's just like sunbathing. He's just like, I got an idea. And then just cuts to like the Thousand Sunny with giant legs running across an island.
Yeah, it was like, good.
Yeah.
It's great. But yeah, like Nami is a good pick. Yeah.
That fan comic about Brook thinking Luffy's goal is to kill the Pirate King. Love it. That's actually, I haven't seen that one in a while, but it's good. Oh,
also, just a shout out to the person who's like, why do people like manga with political stuff in it? I'm assuming that's because someone referenced Nami being gay. Nami is gay. She is one of the gayest characters I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I didn't pick it up on my first read, and Bo mentioned it. I was like, haha, that's funny. And I read it and was like, oh no, she's 100% gay. I don't even know if Oda's doing it on purpose, but like, she's really gay. And don't worry. I put all of them in the Imgur that's going to go up on the Patreon, because Bo and I just started screen capping them and putting the pride flag next to it. And like, it's unreal. Even in scenes like they learn that like Vivi's gone missing, and Nami's just like, oh my gosh, I'm so worried about what Vivi's thinking and feeling. And she's literally spinning towards the camera the way Sanji does when Sanji talks about Nami. Like, it's so not subtle. I almost think he knows, which feels wrong, right? Like, that doesn't feel like something Oda would do. But
he married Nami.
Oda accidentally makes great representation all the time, which is
very funny.
We're unlocking here with how he writes Nami in his Force Femme game.
Someone asked what's the text under Carrot, because you can't see it. It says, she is in place of Chopper. It says, ladies and gentlemen, in this arc, the role of Chopper will be played by some useless rabbit, because Chopper doesn't do anything because Carrot's there, and she eats all his screen time. The only thing Chopper does is get a nose full of candy. It's disgusting.
Yeah. But
anyway.
Because, like, if I were putting Straw Hats, Nami was, like, the first character I thought of. Like, legit. Yeah.
Yeah. Nami's just great.
Now back to me.
Okay.
No, you go.
Mine won't be nearly that long. Miss Golden Week, love that little freak. I love Mr. 3 and Little Garden, but like Mr. 3 loses some stuff because he doesn't really do anything in the times he shows up again. Every time Miss Golden Week is on screen, I'm delighted. Even that one panel where she's 8 feet tall for no reason. I love, she doesn't have a devil fruit. She's just a little weirdo. She has a funny dynamic. Yeah. Sorry, what?
With magic and shit, yeah.
Yeah, she just has magic. She's just like, I'm a really good artist. And she's like a 16-year-old who looks like a 16-year-old. And Oda definitely forgot she was supposed to be 16 because he draws her shorter and shorter. So I think he thinks
shrinking.
She's got Chopper disease. I just love Miss Golden Week. I think she's interesting. And she's an Usopp fight, technically, because Usopp is the one who beats her. And it's really interesting because all Usopp fights are good. I loved Miss Golden Week. That's all I have to say.
Yeah,
she's my weird pick for favorites.
Mr. 3 would be on my list if every time they needed a lock open, he would like suddenly be there.
I spent hours looking for how he got onto that fucking platform. I'm so angry.
Yeah, but back to me. Let me pull up my list because
I can't wait till they get to the One Piece and it's a big treasure chest. I'm like, we don't have the key. And Mr. 3 floats by on a piece of driftwood. They pick him up, stick his head into there, turn him, and then throw him back into the water. And he doesn't have any lines of dialogue.
Oh yeah, this one isn't controversial at all. Perona.
Yeah.
Perona is just.
I have
good,
Perona as well.
Yeah, Perona's good design, good power set, an Usopp fight, so therefore they're great.
Usopp fight.
Usopp fight, where it's just like I'm always negative, and she's like, "It's okay, you can do it." And it's just every time Perona's on screen, I'm like, "Yes, get it."
Her fucking. The like obviously that's amazing. The part of Perona, my favorite Perona panel that I completely forgot about is when she's like, using my ghost powers, I'm gonna lean in and rip out your organs. She's like, and Usopp's like almost foaming at the mouth. He's so scared, and she just goes, "No, I can't really do that." She's just floating in the air. I love it whenever One Piece is like gag manga adjacent. I think it's at its best when it's doing that. And Perona versus Usopp is like straight up top 3 at least fights in One Piece. It's so good.
Yeah,
and she's 28. Yeah, she's a full ass adult.
Yeah, like when One Piece is trying to be serious, and then there's all these gags, is when it's at its best. When it's trying to be silly and then has all these like weird serious moments, like in Foxy, then like that's when it's at its like worst sometimes. You know, like. You know what I'm saying? You picking up what I'm putting down?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much Perona. Thumbs up. Bo.
Yeah, I'll go with the second easiest answer. It's Usopp.
Yeah,
Usopp's good.
Usopp's good. Like a character such as him just adds so much to just everything. Like in Water 7, East Blue, he doesn't do that much in Baroque works, but like, you know, like.
But that's fine because Little Garden was an Usopp arc.
Yeah, true. Little Garden, yeah. And it's just like consistently, he like if you look at this list, he has the highest average at 4.13.
14, damn, get it, Usopp.
Damn, get it, Usopp. Usopp, sweet.
Usopp, I didn't realize how much Usopp suffers from Robin disease in Act 2 and barely gets to do anything. But he really doesn't get to do anything other than that, like, God Usopp stuff, which is great. My favorite thing about Usopp is his relationship with Nami.
Yeah. Oh, fuck, we forgot a Straw Hat on this list. Where's Soga King?
I didn't want to add a 6 tier, to be honest, since it's so crazy. He shows up in Water 7 and never. I was waiting for him to be the leader of CP0 since they all have masks, and he didn't fucking show up again. Oda, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's fair.
Is Soga King a Straw Hat? That's a good question. I don't think he ever officially joins,
but it's
he's
like
more like
like
Law and Vivi.
Yeah, like Vivi. Yeah, dude, I was so tempted to have Soga King on my favorite character list. I was so fucking tempted. But yeah, anything you want to say about Usopp specifically, Bo?
No, just in general.
Yeah,
I really like him.
Yeah,
the worst things about him are that he idolizes his dad. And that he gets randomly hit with the pervert hammer by Oda.
Yeah, the pervert hammer is my one thumbs down on Usopp, and it's not his fault that he's written by Oda. Skip me. I did Perona with you, so that was mine.
Oh yeah, fucking that's right. Okay, next one. Okay, guys. Buggy the Clown.
I also have Buggy.
It's literally uncontroversial. It's like Buggy is just one of the best fucking One Piece characters, from just like being like a fucking bit villain and then like occasionally checking him out, and then it's just like him just growing more and more, and he does that Kinemon bit better than him. Yeah, and it's like elongated and just like everything about it.
The way Buggy interacts with Luffy and Impel Down literally makes me go, oh, the Straw Hats aren't that good. because if like legitimately their dynamic is so fucking funny and like instantly Buggy has like 8 iconic jokes in Impel Down. He's got the, you remember when I blew up that town with my buggy ball? Not really.
Someone in chat just said Buggy D Clown.
He's the final, he's gonna get the One Piece. I'm calling it now.
Wait a fucking second. Yeah, but yeah, go on.
I genuinely I liked the live action series a lot more than I expected. And even though I respect what they do with Buggy, they make him like a weird Tumblr sexy man Joker guy, which I think makes sense. And it's a valid pick, but like I actually think his arc is probably the most worse in the live action version because I really like Buggy's arc. I think it's done really well from he's a great villain. He's got, like Luffy, he has a power that works really well in the medium and is also stupid and interesting. And he's beaten by Nami, which is great because she's the one who ties him up, which is excellent. I love that shit. He beats Zoro. I'll never lose again. In fairness, that's before I'll never lose again. If I was ever gonna
downside to the live action, we don't get to see Nami kick him in the balls.
That's true. God, but like, yeah, I like that he's one of the first good, my philosophy is different from Luffy's, where Luffy is like, I think emotional treasure and dreams and people's wants and desires are just as important as material goods, and Buggy doesn't get it at all. That's really good. And the thing Buggy's into is like such a traditional pirate thing. Like, he's so piratey. It's great, but like, also he's got a dumb theme. I love Buggy. I think Buggy's good every time he's around.
Yeah, and even then, it's just like he wants to become Pirate King. It's just like, you know, it's this thing of like, it's just like, yeah, dreams are dumb, and emotional treasure is worth it, and he's like, no. And then he's also like, but like, what if I become Pirate King though? I mean, it doesn't.
It's so funny.
Yeah, at the moment, it's like a tangible goal.
Yeah.
I love it. Also, Team Nerd says Buggy's crew will put the D in his name when they finds out it means something, and Buggy will be trying to stop them.
Oh, that's fucking
They
beautiful.
would.
I adore Buggy. Buggy's fucking hilarious.
Buggy the Clown. So, Bo.
Enel.
Yeah.
I also have Enel. Jello's eating this round.
I was so tempted to put Enel. I was so close. God. But yeah, he's fucking amazing. Yeah, go on, Bo.
Just going off of what I said about Dressrosa earlier, Enel's because he is the only character who has responded correctly to the stupid sexism in One Piece.
Yeah.
She's a woman. I know. I saw.
Fucking yeah.
I fucking love Enel.
It's just like Skypiea. He makes Skypiea actually like worth it. You know, like.
Yeah, if Enel was like, can you imagine if like a Kaido tier villain was the bad guy in Skypiea? How irredeemably boring it would be. Yeah. But like Enel literally, like, the arc is boring as shit, and Enel fucking skateboard tricks and kicks one of his guys in the face and is like, "Hello, I'm God." Studio audience, massive applause and laugh track.
Yeah.
He's, in a weird way, despite being written as like a clinical psychopath, I think he's one of the most human villains in One Piece, where like people will inconvenience him and he'll like respond in very human ways, like, "Get out of here." Like, he'll just kick them off. He won't even use his powers.
Yeah.
He wins also. He fully wins.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
He gets what he wants.
It's such a shame too that so many people just kind of remember that fight wrong because they just remember when he tries to zap Luffy and finds out that rubber exists and gets all shocked. And that's kind of all people remember. It's like, no, he immediately adapted and like figured out ways around it because he's fucking smart
beat him with a stick
and had a really good fight.
Yeah, and also him superheating gold with conductivity to reshape it is one of the coolest. Like, okay, so like the first little kid that like for like Epithet Erase, anything where there's powers, like fans will be like, "Can Molly dumb down a person out of existence?" And it's like that's such like a Legend of Korra writer way of looking at things. Like, can you airbend things out of people's lungs so they can't breathe, in a way that's like very boring and unfun to me. And Enel is like I'm using a power that starts as OP as you can imagine. And then the instant he's like, shit, I gotta use it in a different way, he starts using it in the most creative, interesting, freak manifestations of lightning I've ever seen. And also, Oda draws lightning as pillars, and it looks... Enel does kind of retroactively lose some points because it turns out that's just how Oda draws lightning for some reason. But it looks like a cool stylized way to draw lightning the first time you see it, and that's great.
Yeah.
I fucking love Enel.
Yeah,
He's fucking rad, and I like that the use of his powers before hockey exists. Like, even without the concept of hockey, he is just aware of everything because he has like an electromagnetic field over everything.
Yeah.
It's cool as fuck.
Yeah. All right, Jello, we skip you again because
You skip me again. You're gonna skip me twice because you got Buggy and Enel.
I mean,
I'm sitting on one more guy.
And then my next one is not on your guys' list. Because obviously no surprise, Kaku.
I put him on and took him off for Enel.
yeah, that's super fair. Kaku is just so fun. Like, there's not really much to him. He's just like one of my personal favorites, right? It's like if Bo put Baby 5 on this list, right? Which
yeah, but Kaku's actually good.
Yeah, shut up. I mean, yeah,
I'm agreeing with you.
No, I was talking about Baby 5. I didn't want you to. It's that thing where since I know Bo really likes Baby 5, I know you don't, but it's just like I have this need to help a friend, you know. But yeah, Kaku is like just fun with how he just eats the giraffe banana, gets his power, and then it's just like, how the fuck do I even use this? And he's like, I guess giraffes do this, where I just shorten my neck, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna use my giraffe neck to build momentum to my sword slashes. And I'm like, okay, guy, that's fucking funny.
He's so fucking funny. He's just like, oh, it extended my arms like a pasta machine. Pasta machine, stop naming your attacks. Like, yeah. Kaku, it's so great because Kaku's like the biggest like straight man boring guy energy, and then manages to be the funniest fucking CP9 member by a huge margin.
I like even dumb shit, like when a Chopper or whatever is making fun of his powers. He's like, hey, I like giraffes.
I like it, and are awesome.
I fully believe that he didn't even really like giraffes before that, and he's just coping so hard. He's like, dude, no, you don't get it. You don't get it, Rob Lucci. Giraffes are awesome, okay? And just like even just like how they mistake him for Usopp, and they do it again in Egghead, and I was just like, really funny. That's so great. But yeah,
it's just someone in chat says he's also kind of nice. Yeah, I really like that Kaku has a personality outside of being a member of CP9 and CP0, where he's like, his interaction, he has, so the fight between him and Zoro isn't a good fight because Zoro doesn't have any good fights after Whiskey Peak, but his dynamic with Zoro is so gay and so weirdly good. And then the live action series was like, what if we made everyone who talks to Zoro this homoerotic?
Dude,
tangential, that just reminded me of fucking when Kobe was in Amazon Lily towards the end, and there's someone saying it's like no one can resist Boa Hancock powers. Oh, it was Blackbeard. You just see Kobe standing in the background, and you just see a ... bubble, and I just pointed at him and like, I see you, gay little ass.
Gay.
Oh yeah, and Forgery brings up a good point. Kaku has a personality instead of a gimmick. That's hardcore true.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Bo?
Capone.
Fuck! Yeah. All right, I'm out, gamers. Yeah. Bingo.
Oh man, yeah, you're right.
The only good father and the only good relationship in One Piece.
Capone's great. Anytime he's on, like, if Capone's shit wasn't in Whole Cake, it'd be like a 3 at best, or even like a 2 sometimes. Capone single-handedly really elevates that. He's the Enel of Whole Cake.
Yeah. Like, Capone is, I love his power. The fact that he can just have like he is a castle. Like, obviously him transforming into a castle, I'm like, okay, fine. But just like having all the men in there with like cannons and stuff is just so interesting.
It's fun to watch him use that to like sneak people into places
Yeah.
he shouldn't have men in.
Yeah.
I love. He also has one of my favorite, like, here's the backstory that you don't really need of this character. Where he's just like, yeah, he was so fucking good at being an actual capo and just murdering people on land. He was just like,
Mhm.
well, I'm out of people to betray and take over. Time to go out into the ocean. And then he's gonna take out Big Mom. It's so funny.
Yeah. It's like finally like one of the worst generations that I'm like, actually you deserve to be here, I think.
And you love seeing any character whose whole bit is I fucking love my wife.
Yeah.
I love her so much.
God, I wish Sanji became
Especially-
like a wife guy.
Especially after, because what's his wife's name? It's not Lola, it's her twin.
Chiffon.
Chiffon. I love that. Let's be honest, the implication with Lola's joke, because Oda loves to do this with women who aren't Oda pretty, is like, she asks everyone to marry her, but she's not conventionally attractive. Like,
Yeah.
isn't she ugly and weird looking? Like, isn't
She's
that
supposed-
funny?
She's supposed to be big and ugly and kind of scary. And,
So the idea that Capone married this woman certainly for power to
Yeah.
get a shot at Big Mom,
Yeah.
and then goes, I love this bitch, actually. Wow, I really married the right one. Genuinely goes like balls to the wall, full on ride or die for her, has a kid, and is like, oh, I'm still gonna murder your mom. And she's like, great, I hate my mom. And it's like, oh, you're the best wife. It's
he has,
it's
like,
so
a sail on his
validating.
ship now that just says I love my wife or something.
I
Yeah.
love it.
God, respect women.
Respect women, Oda.
And I love that he like goes between, like, he'll be in the middle of a serious capo conversation and then
baby
someone hands him
face.
a baby. He's like, hi, how are you? Did you wake up from your nap? Are you hungry?
God, in the pacifier cigar is hilarious.
Mhm.
No, that's a good one, yeah. And then Jello's out.
I'm out.
So this one, my last one's very interesting, cause like
It's Kaku again.
I wish. Actually, I was thinking about it, and I was scrolling through the list, and it was hard because obviously, like Nami, Usopp, like all the ones you named are also like contenders, and I was like, I actually really like Rayleigh.
He's pretty good, yeah.
Like out of all of the characters that exist in One Piece that are the old men of the previous generation, I think Rayleigh's the only actually interesting one. Right? Who actually is hands off with the next generation and goes,
I
"This
like
is-
Crocus too, but yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah, it's too bad he doesn't show up that much, but like he was he was part of Goldie Roger's crew too, but yeah, it's like
Yeah.
he's actually just hands off and he's like, my time is done. I don't need to like fill this slot or like gatekeep people from doing this, right?
You know what I also really like about him is he, in that scene where Kobe, a little gay boy, he
Yeah.
saves the day and Blackbeard backs off, but afterwards Rayleigh's like, thank God he did. I was bluffing. Blackbeard could fucking kill my ass. I'm way too old now, which is good
Yeah.
because that's our problem with like Garp,
Yeah.
and it's one of our problems with Garp and those guys where it's like, if you're still this powerful, why are you letting these things happen?
Yeah, exactly, right?
And
It's
I-
just go on.
I like it better with the message that you get from Gold Roger, where he found it and he's like, we're here at the wrong time. It's the next generation who this is gonna be. And it's like, yeah, and then every character we've seen that this matters about is dead, so it doesn't matter, but you just see Rayleigh and he's just like, no, yeah, I understand this is not my fight, so I will sit back and I will wait and I will help the people who will do this.
Yeah, and also when like Usopp just asks what the One Piece is, and he's like, nah. Like, dude, nah. You don't understand. That's people's dream. I can't just fucking spoil that shit.
I mean,
right?
Rayleigh he was like, do you guys want to know what the One Piece
Oh,
is?
yeah,
and
yeah.
'cause
and
he
it was
also-
Luffy who's like,
Oh,
don't
yeah,
you
that's what it
fucking
was.
And
Yeah.
that's a great moment for Usopp, a great moment for Luffy. I
Luffy.
think it's a stupid moment for Robin, to be honest. There's no reason for Robin not to just know. But
yeah. But
like imagine being a historian and it's like, I want to discover it myself or it doesn't count. Like it's very
Yeah.
stupid.
And so it's just like I just find him very interesting. Obviously, I don't think he's gonna like matter that much in the plot from like here on.
Good. There's
And
too
that's
many
good.
characters
Yeah,
with
exactly,
shit
yeah.
left.
Like, and it's just like I feel like him coming back and dying tragically would just be. I hope he lives to the end and he's just like, well, and he's just like he like pours
just
the
living with
drink.
his hot Amazon wife.
He
just
he should
apparently an
be-
Amazon queen.
He should be. That's so dumb. He should
really
be
is.
a like the last Roger crew member besides
Yeah.
like Buggy. Just Buggy. Shanks is gonna die too. He should be the last crew member who like. There should be one panel of him like at Roger's grave drinking and being
that's
like,
what I was
"They
about to
did
say.
it, man."
Yeah, like it's just like you did it, man. It's great, and like that's what I'm excited for, and that's why I like the character. Yeah, but yeah,
Mhm.
there we go.
That's a fun pick.
Yeah.
Oh god, the next thing we're gonna do.
Well, Bo still has one,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, you
Yeah,
still
I
have
have
one?
one
Oh
more.
yeah.
I have
Yeah.
one more, and it's Big Mom. Surprisingly, I was not expecting that. I really like Big Mom.
Yeah, I think Big Mom is probably my like top 3 One Piece villains with Croc and Enel. Honestly,
Yeah. I really like her. I like her general vibe and like the way she's handled. I've described her before as the thing that people keep saying that Boa Hancock and what's his face? Fisher Tiger are, except
Mhm.
she's actually that.
Yeah.
She's that realized. I
Mhm.
I like that she has this childish sense to her, but is fucking terrifying at the same time. And I really liked her in Wano. I was surprised by that.
she's more interesting. I'm glad she's there because when
Yeah.
she's on screen, there's a character I like on screen.
I like that she got pissed at them for taking out that town that helped her. She's like, you had no goddamn reason to do that. There are
Yeah.
boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that she just liked Otama because she's a mom. She just likes
a mom.
little kids.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I like that. Like, she's like not good at being a mom. Like, she's clearly fucking up her children in a lot of ways. But like, I like that she's not just like pro family. I like that she has hobbies and interests outside of that kind of shit. Also, completely unrelated. Someone asked something about Shanks, and I said, I think Shanks is an ex-member of those like Royal Knights where like Mac Tonight Moon guy
Yeah,
showed up.
yeah.
I'm and someone's like, that's not gonna happen. It's like I'm like 85% sure that's soft confirmed because I think some other movie or something mentioned Shanks' last name and it's the same as Moon Guy. Like he's
Huh.
definitely from Mary Joie.
Yeah.
But yeah, Big Mom's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Even with the Otama moment, I just liked that they had the combination of like, it's like, oh, maybe she's on her side. No, absolutely not. I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Yeah.
Don't mess with me. And then, like, as they're starting to resist, she just picks up Otama, and it's scary. It's a scary moment. I just liked it.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
good. I really like Big Mom. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They keep trying to make her skinny, and they should stop doing that.
I like that she and Luffy honestly feel like they're cut from the exact same cloth, except
Yeah.
she's like a little crazier.
Yeah.
She's fucked up.
Kid-in-law beating Big Mom was insulting. Yes.
Yes.
I'm so cut fucking like get rid of goddamn everybody that all the Straw Hats are fighting in Wano. This should have just been a story about Luffy taking on Kaido and literally everyone else fighting off Big Mom while he did that. And just have it be another Straw Hat crew fight because we never get those. Big Mom's power set is so cool also.
Yeah. And I like that it's another little thing of like Luffy's Gear 5 is basically Toon Force, and Big Mom was also like leaning towards that with her very cartoon ass powers.
All right. Well, anyway, it's been fun to talk about what we like about One Piece for
Yeah.
20 minutes for once, which is a new record. But next
Yeah.
question.
Yeah. What are our least favorite characters?
5 characters you hate and why?
Let's start with Jello and then go right to left this time.
All right.
Give him a chance.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here's I'll go from least stuff I've written down about them to most. Don Krieg, I hate him. I still hate him terribly. I think he's like one of the worst villains in the series. He offers nothing thematically. He shouldn't be on screen. And 5 separate people pitched the live action to me by saying Don Krieg's not in it, and they were right to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say. Hate him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fair. My first on the list, surprisingly late in the game, Frankie. I fucking hate Frankie by now.
Yeah, that's fair. He doesn't really do a whole lot.
Yeah, he doesn't need to exist. His presence actively takes away from things that should go to Usopp, by far. And he has devolved into sexist nonsense bullshit. And he should die.
He also has the worst redesign.
He does. It sucks.
And he not only, like, a lot of characters in One Piece take up space when they don't need to, Frankie physically takes up so much space on panel in a series where the author no longer knows how to deal with that. It's very bad.
Yeah.
I feel like if I've spent so much time on some of these charts and I still got to finish that big one. I really want to post, like, here's our thoughts on this somewhere public. But at the same time, I'm more worried about Frankie than anything else. Like, people are going to be like, why don't you like Frankie? I'm like, why do you like Frankie? Like,
when Frankie gets scenes nowadays, it feels the most like there are moments with other characters where I could believe that Oda legitimately wanted to do something with them. With Frankie, it feels like someone just kind of nudged him and was like, hey, remember Frankie exists? And he's like, oh shit.
Frankie is written the way that Chopper was written in Alabasta. Where it's like, remember this character? Fuck. Yeah, he's on there. God damn it. But yeah, no, I can't get over the fact it's like Frankie was designed to give, because Oda watched the anime and liked Bon Clay's actor and was like, I want to design a Straw Hat for him. And then managed to make a terrible design that doesn't even work for his voice. And it was just a thorough thumbs down for the rest of the series. Frankie's best moment is burning the blueprints, and he doesn't do a single good thing after that.
Someone in chat says, I think Frankie's best bit is the parody video on YouTube where someone remade the Nero versus Frankie fight as if it were dubbed by 4Kids, complete with cheesy jokes and black censor bar pants.
We sent that.
Yeah,
I sent that at Aloha. I thought it was real.
Yeah, I thought it was real. I was like, wait, they got this far? And they were like, no, this is a joke. And I was like, oh.
Also, I hate his whole thing of, I'm gonna make weapons. You should stop doing that and leaving them around because people can use them for dangerous things. Shut up, Dad. Oh no, someone has used my weapon for dangerous things. Yeah. I have learned nothing from this.
I love pain-causing samurai saying, it feels like Frankie should have stayed in Water 7 to save a crew spot for someone. And I'm like, yes, I'm on board. Like Bon Clay or Carrot. I'm like, you had us in the first half. Someone, I will say this. Patrick Seitz' English dub performance hard carries Frankie. I do like Patrick Seitz as Frankie. I think he's better with a voice. But what was it? I saw maybe Aloha or someone linked this Jimmy Neutron bit where someone had animated Jimmy Neutron's mom and dad, like their voices to something that it's the episode where like Jimmy gets he turns into a giant. So it's Dad Neutron and Mom Neutron talking to him, and she's like, "Oh my God, what are we gonna do?" Because it's Chopper, and Frankie goes, "What are you talking about? He looks amazing. Good job, kiddo." And I heard that, and I was like, "That's what Frankie should sound like," and I'm not joking. It's Hugh Neutron. That's the voice that would work.
Yeah. So, should I rip the Band-Aid off now? Should I
do it?
On my list, I have in the same slot because I have the same complaint about them, so I could just save time and space by talking to them at the same time. I hate Aokyoji and Garp with such an insane burning passion. If you've watched the book club, you know this. Because obviously I have very strong feelings about stories about dismantling the government, the power of the police force, and other things like that, right? I think Aokyoji is a character that's supposed to be presented like he's a cool cop who doesn't listen to the rules and does whatever and all this other stuff, and it's just like he's so badly done. Because I feel like if you're someone as strong as Aokyoji in a story, if you want to do good, the best thing you can do is not be a part of that force and do good anyways, because it's not like the Marines could stop him, right?
But although he went to join a slaving pirate crew afterwards, so he's a cool guy now.
And we know that he's gonna be like, actually I was a spy this entire time in your crew, Blackbeard. But that doesn't excuse the fact that he's probably just sitting there letting Blackbeard kill people.
Oh my god.
Right?
I just realized why he joined the crew too.
Why?
He's gonna be Robin's final fight.
But
hey, if she gets a fight, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Especially to the creep who said she looked good after knowing her when
What the fuck?
Yeah. Like, he's just all shades of bad, and he's presented like he's supposed to be, like, cool or something for his kind of stuff, and it's like this whole thing about lazy justice, and it's like, yeah, it's lazy justice, it sucks. He's bad at it.
Yeah, it's the problem is, like, I think he'd be a worthy character of, like, lazy justice. It's I can't change the system if he were presented as a negative figure, making the world worse, but that's definitely not what the narrative's trying to do with him.
And
he's lazy justice presented in the way you're supposed to think that a lazy divorced parent is cool.
Yeah, and that's
he's the dad that takes you to Disneyland but also doesn't pay child support.
Wait, Kizaru's lazy justice? Then what's Aokyoji? What's his fucking thing?
It doesn't matter.
Is it shitty justice? Is it like fucking
shitty? It's shitty justice.
Like he's just awful, and just everything about him, and just every time he shows up, it's just like it's stupid. And I was coping where I was like, because obviously this is my first time reading One Piece, and I was like, Garp is what I think Aokyoji should have been, because it was this thing of like, okay, Garp is here, and clearly Garp can't do anything outside of being a Marine because he's not strong enough. But in recent chapters, Garp has blown up an island with a punch, so it's like the guy is fucking strong as shit, and probably could have just, because he had to watch his ace died, and but he could have just fucking saved Ace so easy, but he didn't.
No, but he wanted to continue being a Marine, which
he's so against going against the Marines, which is why he shit talks the Celestial Dragons and gets no downsides to this.
And everyone's like, oh, but Sword could just leave and just join the rebellion or something and do equally just as much good. None of the people there actually need to be a part of it, right?
Sword doesn't need to exist, and it's bad that it exists.
No, but it exists because it's the good guys, not all cops, Bo.
Not all cops. God, it's so stupid and disheartening. And the story that is very much the Marines are bad guys, a lot of the Kings are bad guys, and all this other stuff is just like, it's silly. It's just you're pirates versus the Marines, and it's just like the story with all Luffy like burning the flag of the Marines and declaring war. All of that has kind of amounted to nothing, because they've spent more time fighting other pirates than fighting the government in all the Marine shit in the first place, even though they are enemies that have been built up ever since the beginning of the fucking show, right?
Yeah, really, outside of Enies Lobby and the introduction of the bad guy Marines that are the CPs, every time the Marines have come up to me, it's been like, ah, shit, the Marines are here, run.
So, I don't think I'm gonna have a better time to talk about this.
Yeah.
I think the most interesting thing that the live action version of One Piece does is it makes the Marines a faction that could exist in real life and have people join them.
Yeah.
Because if you haven't seen the live action, they keep Kobe and Helmeppo around. They kind of converge their cover story with the actual plot and have Garp following Luffy around as kind of the overarching season antagonist. And I hate Garp in that version for different reasons than I hate him in this version. I never like Garp. I just think he sucks. But I think Kobe is the best character in the live action One Piece because he legitimately is like, I don't understand why the Marines are using their resources to do this. Kobe openly hates the Seven Warlord system. He's like, why are we working with pirates? And the culmination of Kobe's arc is they like have Luffy's crew at gunpoint or whatever after Kokoyashi Village, and Garp orders them to like take them in, and Kobe fucking steps forward and goes, I'm not doing that. I am refusing to take your order. And Garp's like, I'm an admiral. Or you know what you're doing? He's like, I absolutely do. And Helmeppo steps forward and he's like, yeah, I agree with my friend. And it's the best moment in the whole show. And it's like, wow, why isn't Kobe the B protagonist of the actual thing? It's so much more. And then I'm like Morgan, like, right away, the Marines are an unbelievably stupid organization because Morgan's just like a comically evil guy who asks his followers to kill themselves if they bump his statue, and they're like, I guess I have to. And it's like, hey guys, you can rebel. Would it not be better to aim your gun at this guy? Because like, then what happens? He might kill you. Well, you're gonna kill yourself right now. So like, think about it for 8 seconds. It's very stupid, but he's like, they changed him to be like kind of like stupid, but like not evil. Like he's not abusive to any of his followers or anything. He's just like a liar and a glory hog. And it's like about how the Marines are lying, and like that's good. And I'm watching it going, wow, live action One Piece really is written by someone in a post George Floyd riot ACAB world where you have to kind of think about a power structure like this if you want to tell a good story. And One Piece is not.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about just like One Piece being something so old but not evolving to a newer age, right? And everyone just taking what One Piece has done good and then making different manga and improving upon that stuff, while One Piece has just stayed the same over the past like 20 something years, you know? Because like,
yeah, and I'll
I'll
also mention
current events. Probably not.
Probably not. They keep him in a dungeon, or he keeps himself in a dungeon. It's his choice. I will also say, I didn't mention this, I also have Aokiji and Garp, but on that tier as well, I have Sengoku for the same reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. I forget he exists.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because he should have just been Sakazuki from the start, and even Sakazuki's kind of bad, but they should have just been one character. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Bo, that was also mine, so I think it's you again.
Yeah.
Okay. Easy free space option, Absalom.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did, because I had so many I had to cut Absalom, and my justification was that he dies at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just... There was a discussion we were having before of ranking the different arcs, and it came up that I fucking hate Thriller Bark. There's a lot of it I don't like, and Jello's immediately response is like, "'Cause it's really icky, right?" And I was like, "Not even that." But yeah, he's icky. He is the embodiment of everything icky in One Piece.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this'll be on the not Discord, the Patreon when it's done, but just to go over it for fun. We have pretty similar opinions of most arcs. Actually in like the first, like over half of them, I've got a version that the one with the white line being our average was the average. I do have a version that's all of our different little icon heads on top of it. And we're mostly all together, except Aloha noticeably hates Foxy more than we do, since he gave it his 0 and Bo and I gave it a 2. Thriller Bark, I gave a 4 because I like parts of it. Aloha gave it a 3 and Bo gave it a 2. And then the other one that's very different is Punk Hazard, which I also gave a 4 because I'm a freak, I guess. Bo gave a 2 and Aloha gave a 1 too. So those are the only times our opinions diverge to any level of significance.
Yeah, within most points, we're like 1 point away from each other.
And like I will also say that, like, on both of those arcs where I'm the guy going, no, Punk Hazard's like a 3, guys, I swear. Like, I would not fight harder than 1 minute to convince anyone of what I like about Punk Hazard or Thriller Bark.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to bring that up since it came up.
Yeah. So I think it's back around to me. This one's gonna probably might mark some things off the list. Fisher Tiger.
Oh, good pick. Oh, I
Yeah.
missed him.
Yeah, Fisher Tiger is another thing. How I hate Aokyoji and Garp for telling a bad government and police story. I hate Fisher Tiger for telling a bad racism story. That's right.
Yeah.
If this man was a slave and that's why he's freeing slaves, why is he hiding the fact that he was a slave?
Because it's shameful. He can't tell the other slaves on his ship.
It's stupid. Like, Jesus, God, someone who's never faced racism before.
And they handle his whole issue of not being able to handle that a human blood would save him real bad.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Fisher Tiger is one of those. I will say he probably should have made my list because he's one of those characters who I legitimately wrote like 7 paragraphs about how angry I was about how he existed.
Mm-hmm.
Someone says PTSD. If he had stuff that bad, he wouldn't be able to even free slaves because him seeing slaves would probably fuck him up.
Also, again, yeah, like Bread Bunny says right after, literally half his crew is enslaved, and slaves don't work alone. How would else have known this? Also, like, where did Koala come from? Was she not part of the initial slave thing? Like, how did nobody know he was? It doesn't make any sense at any level.
Yeah, that's why I hate Fisher Tiger, because I don't know, he takes a very, like, a subject that you should handle with care and then just fucking decimates it, so.
It's especially weird because he has that talk to Arlong and Jinbei where he's like, we can't kill anyone because that will come back to us in a bad way. Even if people deserve to die, like, they're going to use that to further excuse making our race a lesser people. And it's like, I was like, wow, I literally screen capped it. I was like, this is some actual good nuance. I'm glad he understands this. And then a character who understands that is like, I'm going to let myself die because I refuse to have human blood. It's like, grow up, you coward.
Some of my followers will become slave drivers.
Yeah.
Multiple times, too.
Yeah, I don't know what Oda's thing with slavery is, but anytime there's an oppressed people, they become oppressors themselves, which is very BioShock Infinite, and I hate it.
Yeah. That reminds me of someone, Tiago Main bringing up, so a symbol of oppression could be turned into a symbol of freedom. That was a weird moment leading up to the Nika thing where what's his nuts is talking to Jinbei, and it's like, I wanted to talk to you about that like the sun symbol. You know about Nika, right? And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like, why don't they?
Oops, all bad. I didn't put Fisher Tiger on my bottom characters list because I put Fishman Island on my bottom arcs list for the exact same reasons.
Yeah, like So,
abusers create abusers, not at a systemic slavery level. No time in history has that happened.
Are you telling me that black slaves have left slavery and then become slaves?
Yeah, remember that the Haitian slave riot in like 200 years ago where they immediately enslaved white people? Oh, no, wait, that didn't happen because that's extremely stupid. And the underclass that's rising up doesn't have time to even think about being evil in return because they have to justify their new nation that was made by slaves to all the other nations to get on the world stage. It's just it's just terrible. It's just terrible. It's just they didn't think about it.
Yeah.
It's very oppression written by someone who doesn't understand oppression.
Yeah. So yeah, there's Fisher Tiger. There you go. Jello, do we skip you or what?
No, I get to go this time. I'll go with, I still have a few. Wiper. Listen.
Wiper no wiping?
Wiper no wiping. Wiper no existing. And the only sentence I have written for Wiper is, hey, at least I was supposed to dislike Hody Jones. And I think that speaks to the whole point. So, that's enough from me.
Yeah.
Bo.
For the same reason as Frankie, Senior Pink is here. He's
Fair.
also here because
Yeah.
he's gross, and I don't like looking at him, and I don't like sharing a birthday with him.
Senior
No,
Pink
I
is
wouldn't.
definitely one of those characters who I misremembered, like, into a better character because my
Yeah.
brain edited his
Yeah.
problems, where I was like, he had such a loving wife and did this dumb diaper fetish stuff because he loved her so much. And it's like,
Oh,
not
God.
really. He lied to his wife, and then she, like, fell down the same stairs that killed
I-
Karina.
I put Senior Pink on thumbnail and say the most emotional character in One Piece, and I get 20 million views.
Bro, there are some One Piece essays out there
I
that
know.
deserve you to get a channel taken down for being so wrong. Hey, like, if you watch videos on YouTube, which I assume you do since you're here,
Yeah.
never assume that somebody consuming a lot of something means they have something insightful to say about it, and that includes like us. Like
Yeah.
assume everyone can be wrong. Don't assume people have done the
Form your-
research or
form
have a
your
good
own
read on
opinions.
media.
Yeah. What's YouTube? That's
Also-
what I'm saying.
Also, the fact that even in the latest arc, Frankie brings up Senior Pink again and is sad because he thinks his friend died. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. I fucking hate both of you. That's it.
Yeah.
Down D stairs is the final boss that will steal the One Piece.
God.
Warn
So
you about those stairs, bro.
yeah, next for me is this is a very fucking simple one, Kaido. We've already talked
Fair
about
pick.
how much Kaido sucks. He has no story. I think the fish model dragon could have been such an interesting devil fruit if it's like what we talked about, where it was like you started off as a fucking fish and had to climb a waterfall or some shit to like grow into that dragon, right? But we've never seen that. We've like never fucking dealt with any of that stuff. Like Kaido just exists and then he doesn't exist, and that's pretty much it. And I feel like for the longest arc in One Piece to have such a nothing villain, right? Like at least when I'm reading Skypiea, Enel's at the end, right? At Wano, at the end there's nothing.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
fully right. I have nothing more to say about Kaido because I
Yeah.
think he's so boring.
He doesn't
Yeah.
exist.
If Wano had a good villain, I would be willing to like consider it as like a 3 or a 4. For me, it's like a 2.
Someone just said, literally, there's a My Hero Academia transfem Deku fan fiction that covers that exact premise, Aloha. How do you fucking know that?
What were you doing
What
on
were you-
Transfem Island? That's where Sanji was sent.
Hey,
during the
chatter.
time skip.
I post the camera emoji and the eyebrow raise emoji.
One of my favorite, I mean, you could be whatever, like whatever, it's fine. One of my favorite interactions I ever had with the chat was it was me and Lenti, and somehow just like kink talk came up, and we're talking about like the idea that like a lot of psychologically people there'll be some extra aspect that's not just like, oh, I'm in defeat. Like there'll be some other thing beneath it. And we were like talking about that. And I can't think of another example other than the one I'm going to say. And I was like, I wonder what the thing is for Vor with that. Like maybe it's like a sense of like being impossibly close to someone, or like a warm embrace of a tummy. And someone in chat went, not to put my whole ass out there, but yeah, dead on. I was like, all right, man, I respect you for saying it.
I'm transfem. My circle's gonna keep an ear to the floor. Yeah, that's fair.
That's fair.
That's fair. I respect that.
That's the most respectable answer, and that's coming like, and I wouldn't even make fun of you if you were just like, I'm gonna transfem stuff. All right, is there anything to say about Kaido? Isn't that kind of the
there's
problem?
not.
Kaido at least affirms his trans son. That just reminds me of a fucking moment where it was Izo holding Kiku in his arms, and I misread who was talking at one part, and I hear her say brother, and I thought it was Izo talking. I just had a moment of, man, come on.
Wow. All right, I have 2 left. I might have done my math wrong, but here's one that I bet at least one of you also has. I put them on the same tier: Rebecca and Tashigi.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got Rebecca.
All right. Wow.
I got
All right.
Rebecca.
All three of us. Hell yeah. Congrats, Rebecca. You're officially the worst character in One Piece.
Yeah.
You know, we could say so much, but haven't we recorded like 12 sittings of us just talking about why Rebecca and Tashigi are bad characters?
If you
We're good,
wanna-
right? We can just.
If you want to hear more about how much we hate Rebecca, watch earlier in this VOD or watch the rest of the series where we talk about how much Rebecca is kind of awful and sexist.
I'm.
Go ahead,
Buck.
I was just gonna bring up how sort of related to Shigi because she looks just like her. We were talking about Kuina and how the story would have actually been improved if she was like Zoro's sister.
Yeah,
That would have been more interesting.
I said it as like a joke for some reason. I was like, wait, what the fuck? Why isn't he? That makes no sense. Why weren't they related?
I don't like that because I don't trust Oda to write a story where Zoro's missing his sister and then runs into a girl that looks just like his sister.
That's
and
true.
Not potentially that sister character becoming his love interest.
Well, listen, in this version, we're writing it, so obviously Tashigi doesn't exist. And
Yeah, hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, so I think, do you guys know what worries me about One Piece Book Club the most is knowing that in the future I'm going to be on a stream or on Twitter and I'm going to casually mention how sexist One Piece is. And someone's going to go, what are you talking about? And mentally, I will turn to open my closet of examples and the examples overstuffed in the door will fall out over me. And at the end, I will have none in my hands.
Just like Zabumafu.
What?
Just like Zabumafu. Do you know what Zabumafu is?
I know what it is. Is that like part of the opening or something?
Closet bit.
There's a closet bit where they.
I've never watched Zabumafu. I just know what it is.
We have to get some specific item, and so they go to the closet and they open it, and then all the stuff in the closet falls out and floods over them, and then they find what they need. That's the Zabumafu reference. That's it.
Gotcha.
Support Jello's Patreon, where you can see that
where you can watch Zabumafu.
Where you can watch Zabumafu for a low price.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything more to say on those two sexist fucks.
And so, but since we also had Rebecca, we skip us and we go back to you.
Oh, you're right. Well, okay. I held off a little bit, but not very much. I'm just going to read this paragraph. Kinemon. I think he's like second or third worst character in One Piece for me. I fucking hate him. Undermines every scene and plotline he's in. Narrative seems to think he's a completely different character than he actually is. He's terribly unfunny. He does not have a single good... He has one good joke, and it's that time he's transformed into a frog, and Nami goes, you look very conspicuous, and he's like, madam, how dare you? And it's just a disappointed frog face.
That happens?
That happened. It happened one time.
Frog costume.
It's a frog costume.
Oh, okay.
It happens for one panel. It's the only good Kinemon panel because he's not in it. He's a pervert. He's got fart jokes. He's got abilities he just makes up and...
He gets fucking cut in half when Law's powers aren't in effect and it doesn't kill him and he talks through his ass again.
Leave fart jokes out of this.
I shan't. They're awful.
Don't you love it when Will like puts his lips together and does like the little tiny fart?
He can. That's not his lips. He can just do that with his voice. That's different. That's better. He has abilities like his Foxfire shit that come out of nowhere, have no thematic ties to anything, and he never does a single interesting thing with any of them. Also, imagine being like, I have the power to light my sword on fire in One Piece, where everyone can do that. He's treated like the samurai leader, and even though he makes exclusively awful decisions, he does the wrong thing every step of the way and is only rewarded for it. He has one of the coolest ideas for a silly devil fruit, and it's never used for anything other than an off-screen costume change, which Oda does anyway, whether he has a devil fruit or not. So there's no point to that. He is single-handedly responsible for making me despise Wano the first time I read it. And I hate him. I hate Kinemon terribly. Yeah, give Kiku everything Kinemon is, every story piece he is important to should be Kiku's. Yeah, Kiku's fucking... Yeah, and then he fucking shows up and is like, I can't see my wife. Because, like, if I were his wife, I would divorce him and then I'd kill him.
And even at the end, they're still like, have you gone to see your wife yet? No. Why?
She cuts him
Why
in
is Oda do
twain.
this?
She cuts him in half, and he's like, "Luckily, this happened to me before, so I'm fine."
My guts are hanging out,
no,
it
you know,
doesn't matter.
you know what? Celestial Drive, kind of disagree with most of that. He could have been miles better, but is better than you're selling him for. Name me one thing he does. Give me one thing he contributes. It's nothing. You can't. You will fail. He doesn't have a single. His only ideas are. He has one scene where he's giving ideas, and all of them fail. It's like, go Sanji, recruit samurai through making Oda, or not Oda, noodles. And that doesn't work. He doesn't do anything. He makes the funny dragon. That's not him.
Kanjuro.
That's
He
Kanjuro.
did see his wife at the end. No, he didn't. They referenced his wife, and they specifically asked him, "Have you gone to see her yet?" He's like, "No, not yet." He just didn't.
You like his devil fruit? Give it to Kiku.
Kiku doesn't need a devil fruit to be cool, and she's better.
I literally forgot about Kanjuro. I like the scene where he sits with Mononosuke and has to convince him to abandon Wano's traditions and eat non-Wano food. You know who imbibed him with those, Wano is the best, we can't do anything non-Wano? Fucking Kinemon. He did that. That's him undoing his own problem. He's the one who waltzes out dick a-swinging like, I've been struck by a woman, I must commit seppuku. That's what we do in my samurai country. Everything about him sucks terribly.
Yeah.
Zoro being like, I stole his power. Bro, you used it in Thriller Bark. You had that power already.
Yeah, the person responded, I think Firefox does have a solid thematic point as the final counter to Kaido's fire burning down Wano. But like it's like we said, Zoro
but Kinemon didn't beat Kaido or save anything from burning.
And then Zoro just gets Kinemon's fire cutting power with like no on-screen explanation, and he just has it.
And it could have just been a thing that Enma did anyway.
Yeah, like it's a lot of like
Kinemon feels like a stereotype of a Japanese guy written by a non-Japanese guy, but he was written by a Japanese guy, so I have no clue what's going on.
That's hilarious. Like,
yes, I'm racist. Yes, I'm that race. Yes, we exist.
Oh man. But yeah, Kinemon. Alright, Bo, what's your last one?
My last one is Killer. I fucking hate Killer.
Yeah, that's fair.
I hate him terribly. Mostly, honestly, entirely because, like, his design is cool. The weapons he uses is cool. The concept of the smile fruits and the downside of them is cool. He undoes all of this very quickly. Because they present it as this sad thing for him, and we're supposed to feel sad for Kid, for his best friend going through it. And he's just fine. He's unaffected. He talks normally all the time. We don't see how it affects him because we can't see his goddamn face.
So I genuinely totally misremembered Killer in this. I thought going into this read, he had eaten a smile fruit before we ever met him. And that's why he was always wearing the mask. And like that's why Kid wanted to go after Kaido as like revenge for his friend. Because that makes any kind of sense. But nope, none of that happens.
Yeah.
Don't they show him laughing all the time in the anime? I read the manga, I'm not watching the anime. It's done real badly in the manga, and also there are way worse characters out there. I felt the need to represent just how much I hate this character that doesn't fucking matter. And
yeah, this isn't worst character. It's characters you really hated and why.
Yeah. So my last one. It's weird because like you guys said a bunch of stuff about this character, and I was like, actually, I don't think I hate this character as much as I do. Because I was just like, it's been a bit, so I haven't like read them. But it's just like I had Big Mom in my least favorite character list. Because
really?
I was just like, I just like remembered her as just a big fucking wall in Wano that was kind of annoying for the characters.
Oh, you're thinking of Kaido.
Like Kaido and Big Mom were kind of in that same kind of like way where I think I was just like upset about villains at One Piece when I was like thinking about this list. So like that's why I have Kaido on here too. And so it's just like now you guys like reminded me why Big Mom is like interesting, and I was like, oh yeah, I guess my hate was unfounded a little bit, and so
Yeah,
I don't have a fifth one. Congrats.
Not to go immediately against you, but you know what was more interesting than all of Kaido?
Yeah.
The fact that they had to make a plan to break Caramel's picture in order to make Big Mom cry, so she would let down her guard and become hittable.
Yeah, like that's the thing where it's just like I when I was writing this down, I lived in a world where fucking where whole cake didn't exist, and I was just Wano was fresh on the brain, you know. And then it's just like you guys talking about it, and then like the fucking enabling the Brook scene of Brook being hidden as Luffy, like as a straw man, and then just like knocking the fainting like the picture down.
That's like one of my new. That's like a top 5 One Piece moment for me.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah, like
I like too the Brook moment where he calls her young lady.
It's really
like
good.
That.
I'm infuriated that Brooke walks into Whole Cake and is like, I'm gonna be the best Straw Hat, inarguably, for 100 chapters. And it's like, who is this man? Who is this skeletal man that is suddenly fun to read about?
Yeah, because I was just thinking about it. And it was just like Kaido and Big Mom just had no place in like Wano to me. But then it's just like I was like, oh yeah, Whole Cake was fun. Yeah, I remember now. And it's just like, yeah, that's why I was like looking at the end of the list and I was like, you guys said Big Mom, and I was like, huh? And then you guys were like this, and I was like, oh yeah, that's fair. I was like, and that's why I saved it to last, because I was like, yeah, this is like a little bit unfounded, and it's fine. I put Garp and Aokyoji in the same slot, so I can just say, yeah, there we go, 5 characters.
Nice. All right. And then perhaps the spiciest question. This time we'll start with Bo, I think.
Yeah.
If you could change one thing about One Piece, what would it be? And this is a hard question because of the operative word, change one thing about One Piece, because there's so many things I'd want to change about One Piece. But if you only get one, what would you do?
Not the writer, someone's in the chat.
That's a solid pick. Perhaps getting the most bang for your one thing. Do y'all like One Piece? Honestly, I will say no at this point. I personally don't. I think more of it is bad than is good. But it's Bo's time.
Yeah. I think the answer is gonna be the sexism problem. I need it to be fixed, and it never will be. I need him to treat sexism the way he treats trans characters nowadays, which is much better. Oh.
It's so sad because, like, clearly someone talked to him between Bon Clay 1 and Bon Clay Impel Down, and they were like, hey, man, you should try a little harder. And he was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, and did a great job, and then ends up having, like, I mean, in a cast of like 1,000, he's only got like maybe 5 or 6 gender non-conforming characters, but that's more than a lot of anime, especially from the 2000s. And then people clearly constantly are like, hey, I'm a 12-year-old girl and I don't understand why, but the way you treat women makes me feel really lesser and bad. Can you do something about that?
Laughs about it.
And he's like, haha, I love a big boob.
Yeah.
Anyway, here is my next SBS question from a 10-year-old asking to lick Nami's breasts.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, even besides the gross shit, just the general way he handles female characters outside of Nami weirdly gets away with not doing this.
I think it's because in his heart of hearts, he knows Nami is gay and is also a woman like her, and so he must assign her higher power level than other women.
Yeah. And now when he writes female characters, it just ends up being Rebecca.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Someone asked this question like randomly. I think they just popped in and asked the question, but they said, what do you think is the best shonen anime / manga / video game? And here is gonna be my honest answer, chat. If you see a shonen manga is written by a woman, it's probably gonna be the best one you're gonna read.
That's true.
That is, like, for the most part, that's gonna be the case. Like,
not to be pro-women sexism here, but 3 separate manga I have read.
Yeah.
No, 2 were a manga, 1 was a novel. And I was reading them, and I went, hang on. they're doing this thing that's normally awful really well. I bet this is written by a woman, and I look it up, and it is, and I'm like, yep, like Beastars was that, because like Beastars has a hugely forward sex element to it. Like it's not even horny, it's just very, sex is a thing in the world, and a lot of characters are very sexually motivated. And I'm like, they're handling this really well. Is the mangaka a woman? Ah, that explains literally everything.
Yeah, like one of my favorite shonens is Magi and the Magic Labyrinth, and that is also written by a woman. Like shonen, just because it is primarily like the term for it is that it's aimed at younger boys, doesn't mean that it can't appeal to female audiences, and also can't be written by a woman, or you know, all this stuff. It's just and you can see kind of a lot of those examples with Oda, because God, Oda's like just sexism and lack of understanding for the other sex is just so fucking just stupid.
It's genuinely very embarrassing
Yeah.
to listen to Oda talk about stuff where he'll be like, oh man, this is gonna be maybe even too insulting for Oda, but I'm gonna go for it. It's like how over time people kind of picked at J.K. Rowling, and she became a more openly worse and worse person. I feel like with what J.K. Rowling is for trans people, Oda is kind of that for women, where at first he starts being more neutral, but as he gets more and more like, why are you doing this? Please stop. He doesn't think, oh, I'm doing something wrong. He goes, people are being mean to me, and I'm annoyed by that.
Don't like how I draw women, so I'm gonna make them worse.
And it's bad.
Also, for people who are recommending Hell's Paradise as a shonen manga, it's not shonen. That's a seinen. One way you can tell, because the line is so blurred
seinen
nowadays.
Is good.
Well, it's Shonen Jump does produce seinen manga. And the way you can see it is if you look at the physical manga, and at the top, if you don't see the SJ and you see Sig, that means it's a part of Shonen Jump's signature series, which is a part of their seinen line, right? And that's Golden Kamui is a part of that, and then also Hell's Paradise, because I couldn't finish Hell's Paradise because it was age locked on the Shonen Jump site. While
and Aloha's 11.
While Chainsaw Man wasn't. I just didn't want to make an account. I was just that lazy. You know, so yeah. Chainsaw Man is technically shonen, even though for some reason it has the SJ on the thing and it's considered shonen, even though it's just as gory as Hell's Paradise, which is wild.
So good sign for Dungeon Meshi. I just checked; it's written by a lady. You can tell because the women are like hot in an interesting human way in Dungeon Meshi, rather than blow up doll.
Yeah, but yeah, there you go. So that's what Bo would change, which is very fucking just true.
That was my sexism. I even wrote sexism as a really close second.
Yeah, sexism was like the most obvious like thing, so I was like, yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, my hope was one of you guys.
Yeah, I'm here to cover the bases of the obvious answer.
I appreciate that.
And so,
do you wanna go, Aloha?
So mine is something you've probably heard me talk about constantly. It's that I do not want the POV to be constantly told through Luffy's lens. I want to see what other characters are doing across the world more often, right? And because that will fix the feeling that this world is small. Because this adventure manga, like we've explained at the top of the thing, is like just so the travel distance between islands and everything like that just like makes the world just feel like it's just a straight line with nothing in between, just a little bit of water, and you instantly find another island. And in Egghead, which we've seen recently, is like when we get to see those other point of views, like Vivi and Wapol at Reverie.
And it's awesome!
Or like bits of Sabo in that kind of case, right? And just like whenever we jump to these other point of views and see what other characters are doing across the world, it progresses the state other than the fucking cover stories, which is a bad way
of giving us this kind of stuff.
Yeah, like I love cover stories when all they're covering is how did it, like the first two I think are really good, like Buggy where it's just like how did Buggy get here and how did he ally with Alvida? That's like a 2-sentence story and it's characters who we just saw like a minute ago. And like Enel going to the moon. That's good because that's fine. And
what about Caribou?
Well, actually, mine is I would remove Caribou. That's my big change for One Piece.
Yeah, like, and there's just so much stuff where it's just like it shows that this is an older like shonen, because I feel like more modern ones are less afraid to take the camera off of the main character, where it's just like Jujutsu Kaisen does it like often enough, right? Where there's like an entire arc just not about the main character, right? There's like just so many other examples everyone can list off, right?
That's one of the interesting things that I like about Golden Kamui is they constantly change up who like the parties are and where they go and who's even considered a good guy and a bad guy.
Yeah,
it's fun.
And it's just like while Golden Kamui isn't shonen, it's still just a good story thing to do to make your world feel more fleshed out and also keep us, the reader, caught up with what's happening in the world instead of just like having CP0 show up on our doorstep and be like, oh, this is a fucking thing that happened, I guess. Right.
I mean, well, he definitely made up CP0 like 10 minutes before they showed up.
I know, but it's just like, you know, thinking about like the world state as a whole, right? Instead of just Luffy's point of view and then everyone reacting to Luffy is kind of like how it is. My Hero Academia took the camera off the protagonist and it was the worst sales the manga ever got. I know what you're talking about. Is that the arc where it was all about the villains? So My Hero Academia was running for like 4 years straight at that point, weekly with no breaks. Then they decided to take the point of view off of the protagonists, right? And the author was clearly burnt out at that point too. That after that arc, they managed to take their first break in My Hero Academia, right? That wasn't because they took the fucking camera off the protagonist. It's because, one, My Hero Academia's story is ass after a certain point. But two, it's author burnout. That the story's quality dipped. And if they they took the camera off the protagonist more, instead of just doing it for one arc after like fucking 3 years, right? Like, you know. But yeah, don't hit me with that shit. I know my stuff, okay?
Aloha knows way more about manga than I do, at least. I think Bo also reads more than I do. So
more, but back at some point.
Yeah.
Even then, collectively. So someone asked, because I was like complimenting Golden Kamui, which is like my favorite manga ever, probably. Are you reading that next? No. And the reason we're not is because our patrons got to vote on what our next thing was going to be. And all of us are kind of burnt out. You can tell it's the people who were reading it and they were like, we don't want to do any more action-y shonen stuff, even if it's good. We're a little burnt out. So we're doing Dungeon Meshi next. And we'll solidify this a little later. I believe by my own request, we're just going to take all December off and you guys can just take a full month to read literally all of Dungeon Meshi, and then we can just come back at some point in January and have one book club meeting and cover a whole series. Won't that be nice after One Piece?
And also one reason we didn't do Golden Kamui is that it's not all out physically yet. And the last volume comes out in January.
Yeah, we're really close.
Yeah, and me and Bo, I think, own it physically. For the most
part. I own most of it too, actually. Yeah.
So,
but I'll be honest. I'm probably going to read anything we do for this digitally because then I can screen cap it and then put it on Patreon later if we're funny.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see too, because I don't think Golden Kamui is on Viz officially, and I'm curious where the official scan of it will be if they're going to use the magazine serially printed version or if they're going to use the book version, because there are changes in Golden Kamui.
Used to be on the Shonen Jump site. That's where I used to read it.
We'll figure it out.
But yeah.
Did you anything else about yours, Aloha?
Just like the POV camera, where it's just like it's great for like the health of the world and the fiction you're telling, to not just tell it through one constricted lens.
Yeah, especially because even with Luffy, he's not a very he doesn't like big emotional talks with people or anything, so there's not even character development between him and other people outside of screaming fights occasionally.
Yeah. But yeah, Jello, what do you got? What you cooking?
All right. The one thing I wanted to do the most damage that I could.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Without just saying get rid of Oda. So I'm just gonna read wholesale what I wrote.
Okay.
Here's my essay. So if I could change one thing about One Piece, sexism is a really close second, but sexism mostly just undermines character and character arcs. I think this ruins the themes of the story, which means there's no reason to bother telling a story in the first place. And the vaguest way that I can encompass the most problems is consequences must be real and stakes must be real. If you want to tell a story about freedom fighters in an unjust world with a cruel slaver upper class that can kill anyone they want with a snap of a finger and all the Marines are at their disposal, you must actually make that class as bad as you say they are. You cannot pick and choose when and where people are bad or good to facilitate a cool idea you had if it undermines the themes of your story. And then a ton of examples in a row. Crocodile is so cruel, he's going to use a bomb to kill everyone on both sides of the Civil War along with his own men. No, he isn't. Pell takes the bomb single-handedly and lives. Enel can kill us at any moment, so we live in fear of him. No, he can't. Conus's dad takes a direct hit and is fine. Nami is enslaved as a child in a cruel and horrible way that isolated her from the rest of the world. Don't worry, it's fine. She forgives Hachi because, I don't know, he's funny. He's a funny guy. Oh, and Nami wasn't actually isolated. The whole town knew about her plan the whole time. Don't worry. Everyone in Wano always hated the Kurozumi clan and supported the good guy clan that you like. They were just pretending. And they didn't do a revolution in the 20 years it took the Straw Hats to get there because they were so good at pretending. Don't worry, everyone knew about the dwarves at the end of Dressrosa. They were just pretending. Don't worry, the old nice king who everyone thought died is actually alive. He just hid away and did nothing for 20 years so he could wait for someone to save his country. Guess which one I'm talking about? You can't because there's 3. The next in line is to rule as a woman, and we can't have that, so he's back now. Don't worry, Kuzan and Garp are working for the Marines, but they're some of the good ones because I say they are. Celestial dragons are extremely dangerous and use their overwhelming authority to silence any voice of dissent, going so far as to label an 8-year-old girl as a war criminal to cover up a single thread that might, maybe, one day lead to some of their crimes. Garp doesn't like the Celestial Dragons and actively undermines them loudly and in public, and he's a hugely influential figure that might fuck with their public image. You'd think he'd be dead, considering these guys can blow up an island whenever they want, but they let him live because he's a cool guy who the author likes. And they don't want him to retire because he's a cool guy who the author likes. Sengoku doesn't like it that the government wants to cover up some of the Marines' failures after the Summit War, even though he himself was desperately trying to cover up some of the Marines' failures at the Summit War, literally like 4 chapters ago during that live broadcast. But he's one of the good ones. I decided literally this panel. Oh, and forget about him. He's the one who issued the Buster Call on O'Hara to cover up the government failures. Hope you didn't remember he did that because he was a bad guy then, but he's a good guy now because I want him to be. Why did the Celestial Dragons let Doflamingo live when he returned to Mary Joie as a child if he was such a threat and knew about Emu, a way more incendiary piece of information than anything Robin knew? Seems like the slaver ruling class who liked to hunt people for sport might have enjoyed killing him, but they didn't because he needed to be alive for the story. Why aren't the revolutionaries the highest priority of the world government? Why don't they send warlords of the sea after them? Why don't they send the admirals or Garp after them? If the Gum Gum fruit is secretly the manifestation of the enemy of the government, why don't they kill Luffy when it becomes public knowledge at East Blue that he has the Gum Gum fruit? It's so obvious that Oda thinks of ideas that he thinks are cool and doesn't bother to even work backwards from them to make them fit in the narrative. Undermining a single fight with a lack of consequence is bad. Undermining your themes is story ruining. That's my essay.
Damn, man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You can tell why I wanted to go last, right?
Yeah, that's why I was like, I'll go next because I know Jello's probably gonna pop up or some shit. Like, no, like,
Yeah.
no.
It's rough, and like, I think that's the thing that's One Piece's biggest problem, because that's the one that's like at a small level it's bad because it makes like single fights and single characters not matter. And like that's something I give huge props to the live action version for. A small thing. People die. People fucking die right away on screen in that, which I was like, that was so smart. The live action version introduces Zoro by having Mr. Seven come up to him and try and recruit him to Baroque Works, which does canonically happen off screen in One Piece. And Zoro cuts him in half, which Zoro says he does that, but no one actually kills people in One Piece, so it doesn't mean anything. But like the live action opens with that, and it's like, oh, people are going to be allowed to die in this version. Okay, interesting. And then in Nami's village, nobody in the village knows that Nami is doing it for them. They all genuinely hate her. And they've got this scene with Nojiko where Nami tells her finally, because she loses the gold and when Arlong betrays her. And Nojiko's just like, I can't believe you let me hate you for like 10 years. I hated you. And they're both crying. And it's sadder than any part of Belmer's death in the original. Because like, it's one thing for Arlong to do a sad thing in the past, but for him to have actively ruined Nami's relationship with the only family she has left after taking the rest of his family away is like, that hurts way more. And it's so much better than her going, don't worry, we knew all along, because doesn't that make you, the third person reader, happier? Because now it's not a sad story. It's like, no,
Love
it makes...
and forgive you immediately. Yes.
Yeah. It's like, no, man, it makes me angry because that means the story didn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd get eaten alive if I posted this this rant on like r/One Piece. Yeah, man, One Piece fans a lot of them are stupid. That's
yeah. Also, you're going to Reddit. Like, it's like One Piece and Reddit, and you're adding it together, homie. Like, you good? You need help?
Yeah. There's nothing more frustrating than something that's almost good, and a lot of One Piece is almost good. But like, yeah, no, I'm glad we all picked different things, and I'm glad that like all three of these are my top 3 things that need to change about One Piece.
Yeah, like. Yeah. And like I, at the end of the day, I think One Piece is just, it's not awful, but it's not good.
Hang on. Yeah. But them not knowing that about Nami's thing is more cliche than knowing. I don't give a fuck. Like sometimes the story's worse. Sometimes things that are considered more normal in a story are that way because they make a better story. Sometimes just by deconstructing something, you make your... it's that one, like, sometimes things that are more expensive are worse. Sometimes deconstructing a story makes it suck.
Like, there's a reason tropes exist. It's... So, okay, so here's my biggest advice for you, chat, okay? When it comes to anything creative, okay? It doesn't matter if the idea is original or not. Your execution is what matters. Mm-hmm. Right? Execution in just any idea is what makes it good or bad. It's not the idea, okay? You can
follow the same recipe as someone else and it can turn out worse or better.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, and that's my biggest advice.
Callista is a deconstruction of a boring princess because she's a boring princess. That's just for me, but I love that last story reference. Purple is the best.
Yeah. But yeah.
Execution is vital, which is why Marineford sucked because Ace didn't get executed. That is also a running joke. Is that, like, Oda's bad at execution. Look how long it takes for him to execute Ace. That's probably going in the One Piece, the stib.
Yeah, like, you can talk about this stuff on like One Piece Reddit or anything. But really, for them to actually critique all of our ideas, they should join the Patreon.
Yeah, they have to listen to all of it.
So some guy has to pay $5 and then link it all around. So therefore, we gain $5.
it will take way less time for them to watch all, what, like 11, 12 of our sittings than it would to reread One Piece. And like,
Are you putting Brook Jesus and people being on fire?
People being on fire is 1000% going
Because,
in
dude,
there.
I'm so mad I didn't keep track of people being on fire.
Because we didn't
while
realize
was
how common it was until it was too late.
So here's the funny thing. I read the Ace novels, and in the Ace novels, it says that Ace and Luffy are from the jungle. And so therefore that explains why Luffy can do the red hawk, because he's from the jungle.
I'm losing my mind every time someone lights on fire in One Piece. And like, my favorite thing is it's just as useless poison. No one's ever won a fight with a fire move in One Piece.
And he keeps doing it because he's insecure about how badass something looks. So he's like,
so he lights it on fire.
Now it's on fire. Flames are cool. Hot rod flames
from the jungle.
And to dispute this fact from the Ace novel, you'll have to read it yourself. So you've been caught in my genjutsu.
Now you can read it
luck.
as drawn by a man who is so horribly brain rotted from anime and porn.
For the next 72 hours, you will have to read the Ace novel. But you won't understand what Ace is actually thinking because it's told from a third-person perspective.
From a guy who's really, really in love with Ace.
I was really in love with Ace.
Literally, Ace is just like sitting on a rock. From what I didn't read it.
So
Aloha
basically,
took the
there's a
bullet.
scene where like they're in Sao Body and they're in like a Ferris wheel, and there's a marine girl and there's Deuce, who's like the POV character.
I can't believe his name is Deuce because he's worse than Ace. He's Ace too.
Because Ace and Deuce meet each other, and he's like, his whole thing is he wants to write an event, like a fucking adventure log and shit. And he's like, your name is Ace? I think I'll be called Ace because that's a good name. And he's like, you can't be Ace because I'm Ace. If anything, you're Deuce. And then he gets called Deuce. But then
he's like, that's perfect.
And he's like, oh, you're so dreamy. And then like they're in a Ferris wheel, and like Ace is like looking out a window, and this girl is like basically begging him to join the Marines because she's like, you're a cool guy, you should join the Marines. And then Deuce is just there, and Ace, dead ass, just sits there looking out the window, like in front of the door to the fucking Ferris wheel, and doesn't say anything. We don't hear his inner monologue. He just opens the Ferris wheel at its peak and jumps out.
I love that from your description of that book, because obviously it's like that, but there's been more in our little thing. It really seems like most of it is just POV Deuce looking at him, just like, he was having the sexiest, coolest guy thoughts. I can't even imagine what it was like to be him. I'm so happy he's my friend. And then it's what you don't see is it zooming into Ace's brain and him going, sorry, kitten, daddy's thinking about killing himself.
I fucking wish. It's so fucking gay. It's just like they were stranded on an island and they're surfing away, and it's just like, there was supposed to be treasure on that island and we didn't find anything. And Ace goes, yeah, but we found each other. And it's like, it's so fucking
and
gay.
They have gay sex.
It's really gay. Would I like One Piece more as a TTRPG setting instead of a narrative? Absolutely not. It doesn't. Its setting isn't good because of what Aloha said. It doesn't feel cohesive. The Grand Line doesn't even feel like a fucking place because people can just drift wherever they need to. Beppo.
At that point, right? Like it wouldn't be Oda GMing, and at that point, if Oda's not creating it, it's some guy just creating his own One Piece lore, which honestly would just be better. So it's like not One Piece, you know? Like that's just it. Do we have another top? I guess we have like the useless poison list.
There's the useless poison list, the final cut characters list, which I don't think will be as at least my cut characters list won't be that interesting. I've been salivating for the useless poison list, to be honest. But I saw you posted it and I made myself not look at it to keep it a fun surprise. But we could also talk a little bit about the One Piece live action, because I do think it's a pretty interesting companion piece, because like you said, it's not written by Oda, so we've actually fixed a lot of things that I liked. Don Krieg's not in it. Sanji, Oh, it makes me so mad because like you get to see Sanji if he were like cool and
Dude.
hot.
I hope the actor gets to when Sanji gets to be a massive pervert and is like, I am not okay with acting this. Can we rewrite this fucking shit? Or I'm
They
out.
genuinely have already made him more suave, and they do like a small thing with him. So he doesn't really fight anyone at Baratier because like Arlong shows up rather than Don Krieg, and they just kind of like take Nami and go home. But a little thing Sanji does that he doesn't do in the original that I really liked is when they show up and they're trying to ask Nojiko about Nami, she doesn't want to talk to them. And Sanji's like, what if I cook you some dinner? And she's like, I don't have that much. And he's like, I'm a pretty good cook. I can work with whatever you got. And he makes her a meal. And she's like, this is the best thing I've ever had in my whole life. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, this is such a good use of Sanji for information gathering and also being suave with a woman. And then later, I was watching it with Marissa. And like later on, they're at like the celebration. Arlong is dead. Arlong is over party.
It's the useless poison count.
You gotta keep it secret.
Oh,
keep it
sorry.
safe.
Spoilers.
Later on, Nojiko is like getting more food from him, and he's like, I could offer some private cooking lessons. And she goes like, you wish, like very Disney Channel show kind of energy. And I was like, girl, why are you not going for that? He's so hot. Hey, if you're a boy liker, One Piece live action is for you. Lot of topless dudes in there. They make Helmeppo really gay for Zoro. It's very funny.
I like that Nami had a whole moment with Kaya, and I was just like, yes, add her to the.
That was great.
It was really good. It was good character stuff, and also it would be really funny if she just stole Kaya under Usopp's nose.
Yeah. Kaya and Usopp get to kiss, which is nice. I will say, I actually think Usopp is done the dirtiest because he doesn't really get to do anything in the Kuro arc, which is a huge shame. But hey, you know what I did like? They made Kaya rich because her parents owned a shipyard, which is why they have a boat to give away. And Usopp works at the shipyard, which is why he knows how to repair boats. I thought that was really smart.
Does that mean he's a shipwright? So therefore,
it literally he just like, I think they're like, oh, he just scrapes off pigeon shit, but like he's repairing the boats immediately and he knows all the boating terms, so he's kind of a shipwright, which I like. But
big downside is they take away the scene of him using a cannon, and now he doesn't know how to use a cannon yet.
Yeah, they also, Django's not in it, which I don't think is a bad change by itself, but that means that in the manga, Django and Kuro were defeated at the same time, so Luffy gets Kuro, and Usopp and Kaya got to beat Django together, which was great because they both deserved a victory. But in this version, Luffy just beats Kuro, who he has like barely spoken with, and it's kind of boring. And I wanted. They even set up a thing where Kaya says multiple times, like Nami keeps telling her, "Hey, you're stronger than you think you are," and like I was like, it's so keyed up for her to like stab Kuro and be like, "I'm stronger than you think I am," and I was like waiting for it, and it didn't happen. I was like, oh, all right, whatever, that's fine. But yeah, I think Baratie and Arlong Park are better in the live action than they are in the manga. And then I assume they wouldn't do Smoker because they basically made Garp Luffy's chaser character, and they
will at the end.
Yeah, then the last shot is like a teaser for season 2 of Smoker because they don't do Logtown either. And Smoker shows up and I fucking cheered. I was like, it's my boy. And Tashigi wasn't on screen, so I'm hoping she's dead. Zoro's backstory is still boring, though.
Yeah. I like that they added a random fishman in Baratier.
That was a good change, yeah. Arlong is made so much better by the fact that they back right in a bunch of his, like, here's the world state. Like, Jinbei gets a more good mention. A Marine does like a little microaggression against him and Arlong gets really frustrated, which is good because it makes Arlong's motivations a lot clearer because they're not in the manga. He just hates humans and it's dumb in like a Hody Jones way.
I hate humans too.
I mean, yeah. I do. Would I prefer live action Tashigi if she were absent or competent? Absent. Get rid of her. She doesn't do anything for the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the live action because I was doing better things.
It's pretty good. I was gonna be surprised if I liked it, and I was really surprised, but I'm actually gonna watch the next season. I thought it was genuinely really good.
Yeah.
I've been reading Umineko.
An undertaking.
When's the Umineko book club, Jello?
No.
Gee, I mean, now that we've covered One Piece, what's longer than One Piece? All right, yeah. Speaking of poison,
Yeah. Wow, I totally didn't show people this before.
So this is the useless poison list. It is not every time poison shows up in One Piece because I was nice a few times.
But why don't you explain useless poison, since we have a lot of people watching who haven't been here the whole time?
So useless poison is a thing I very quickly picked up on Oda doing, randomly and for no reason, where if he doesn't think that the stakes are high enough, he will decide a character also has poison to make things scarier as a prospect of getting hurt, and it never matters. It is never important, and it is solved immediately, and it happens so like frequently. And yeah, acid is in here too because he doesn't know the difference.
He always draws poison hissing like acid. And also, I will say, Bo is being very nice here because literally just the useless punk hazard poison, frankly, should count for like 6 different instances of useless poison.
Yeah, and I didn't count fucking what's his nuts prison guard who has poison powers. That's the real nice one there. Okay, so going down the list, the first time was Don Krieg's MH5 poison, which, like, they had the whole thing of you gotta hide under the water or get a gas mask, and Luffy takes it, and he's fine. He's fine. The moment that I started cataloging this was Crocodile's scorpion venom hook at the end of the battle, which is resolved immediately.
That's my favorite one because I think it's the only one an editor went, hey, Oda, remember that poison? Because they do like a anti-in media res like cutback when after Robin shows up on the ship. It's like, here's what I said to Luffy, that he allowed me to be here. And it goes back to right after beating Crocodile when Luffy's out. And it's like Cobra and Robin talking to each other. And she goes, here's the antidote to his poison, which, you know, a thing Crocodile would have around.
As we'll find out later, if you have any kind of poison or illness, then you have to have the antidote for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So Robin gives him that, and that was 1000% an editor going, wasn't Luffy hit with a deadly poison in the middle of the battle? And Oda went, what do you mean? Poison doesn't do anything.
No.
Then there is the Skypiea snake god guy, who they mentioned is poisonous, and it doesn't come up again. They just kind of reference at random, he's poison.
It bites a tree and it burns away like acid, because that's what poison is in Oda's mind.
More like ass.
Yeah.
Got him.
And then we have the sequel to Crocodile's scorpion venom hook. We have Wayne's poison knife, where the ramen fight is going on, and it's one of the cooler fights that Sanji's ever had, and then Oda got scared of it not being fun anymore. So he was like, and I have a huge knife that shoots, it has poison. Ah! And then he does the same fucking thing with Duval. With a scorpion poison harpoon gun. And then Impel Down, I didn't count the prison guard, but at 2 separate sections, they're like, in this section has poison spiders running around, and then when they're like being chased by stuff, and it's Luffy, Buggy, and Mr. 3 running away, it's like, there's poison scorpions chasing us. And it's insane. I don't even remember what the New Fish Hypertoxin Squadron was. I just don't remember.
It's one of Hody Jones's random guys who pop up and it's like, they just beat the fucking 8,000 of our dudes, but they won't be able to beat these dudes. Oh, they beat them. Like, but they showed up with a name, so they count.
Oh yeah. And then
Also, I'm laughing at all of this, but know that I'm on Push to Talk and gathering the final count of how many characters I would propose Oda cut from One Piece while you do this.
understandable. Hyozo's blue-ringed poison. Hyozo comes up, he is a blue-ringed octopus guy, he attacks Luffy, and then after the fight's all over, Chopper is like, wow, this should have done a lot worse. And he's like, haha, I'm immune to poison now. Surprise!
Yes, now.
Now, sweats. Here's the contentious part on the list. The punk hazard poison that did nothing, actually. Oops. Yeah, the punk hazard poison I almost didn't count, which is why it's only on here once, because it seemed like it was a big threat, and then at the very end, they were like, surprise, it didn't actually kill anyone. You can just kind of break the rocks encasing everyone. And,
Hey, do you remember how they showcased it, by the way? It was because Kinemon ran into the poison cloud that was killing everyone for honor, and he died instantly because I hate him.
God, yeah. And then Gladius had poison spikes because he had his advanced version of the booger bomb powers. Except now he spikes and they're poison. Surprise. And it didn't matter. And Wano gets a lot of things, which is what I should have done for Punk Hazard, but oh well. Because they all count as different dangers that happen at random. Starts off with Wano's poison water, which affects Otama. And then they're like, oh, the animals here are also poison. They'll attack you and poison you. And then they're like, oh, we can't eat the fish. That's why we're all starving, because they're all poisoned. And these are separate problems that come up at different points in the story. And then the playgrounds, which is where the thing comes from of fucking, like, oh, it's a plague. Oh, Chopper fixed it immediately, because he's already the best doctor in the world, I guess. And just knows how to cure things on sight.
It's so, you know what I was thinking about? It's so sad regards to Chopper. It's so clear that back in Drum Island, Oda did medical research for the ways that, like, Kureha and Chopper talk. And, like, a lot of it's up to 11. Like, the things Nami almost dies from are all insane, but they're all real. And, like, the way they talk, it's like, oh, he, like, looked up some books on the internet and, like, read them about medicine. And then in the present day, there's just like, oh man, Law cured the disease by being cool enough, so now the disease is cured, and now his antibodies will spread to other people. It's like, I don't think Oda knows what antibodies are. Like, it's like 5th grade level of understanding of how medicine works.
What do you mean poison isn't just tummy hurt? Oh yeah, that was the catalyst for poison fish, because that was what was keeping Law busy for a while, was fucking Beppo's tummy hurt.
Oda gets worse and worse about finding excuses to get Law off screen.
Yeah, and I skipped 17 because I miscounted. I'm adding here the smile fruit, but exclusively for Killer because I hate him. And this is what I was mad about Killer being fine.
Yeah.
Black Maria's poison feet. This was the latest real inclusion where she was in the fight and she was like, surprise, my feet are poisonous because that's how spiders work.
Bo also screen capped that with one of my favorite recurring Bo jokes, which made me laugh out loud every time, which is a screen cap of a panel with the caption, Oda says fetishly.
Yeah, Black Maria had poison. It came up at the end, because this is how Oda writes useless poison. A fight is coming to the end, he thinks the stakes aren't high enough, so he randomly throws poison at a character. And then the final one will be Oda's feminization kink moment. Which is also solved immediately, through willpower and just being, you think it's gone. And you can change your gender, I guess.
Woo!
Whoa!
Woo!
Fuck yeah!
So that's 18. I miscounted on there.
That's
Yeah.
18, which is a lot, and Bo's being so nice. I think if
Yeah.
we were being shitty, we could easily get this up to like 32. Yeah, so do we want to do my final list?
Yeah.
Chat,
Absolutely.
guess how many characters I would recommend cutting in all of One Piece.
Oh, all of One Piece? Alright, cool.
No, yeah, go ahead and put this. Here's the Wano.
Yeah.
Wano is actually kind of small because I cut out a lot of Wano characters that were in Zhao and Dressrosa, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Pretty good guesses. Solid. So, for newbies, the criteria for cutting a character doesn't even mean they're a bad character or someone I dislike, but cut characters list is if I were a story editor, I would go, everything this character accomplishes in the story, you can give this to someone else, you can fuse this, or this is like a narrative circle, this doesn't need to happen. So like a narrative circle being like, you get to Zhao, it's like, oh no, it's said that minks are very dangerous and they hate humans, and you meet them and it's like, no, we actually like humans, but like the way it's like, well, then what was the point of any of that? Like, don't mention that.
Jack attacked us, and then we heard that Jack is dead, but we don't think he's really dead.
Yeah. So like, there's a lot you can cut. And the rule is a character must have a name drop in the manga, preferably, and SBS counts because that's a point where Oda could be talking about interesting story beats that he forgets to include, and then 500 chapters later, people will be like, can you explain what a Zoan fruit is? And he'll be like, oh yeah, I never did that. He who peanut. So I consider wasting time in SBS also a waste of time. I can't believe I read or skimmed every SBS corner.
I skipped that shit, and I was like, if there's anything important, they'll tell me.
Yeah, no, I think I was the only one bothering by the end. You're real.
It's that thing of just like, if I was reading this weekly, I wouldn't see the SBS, so it's just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Number one treble fan, ban them, aloha.
Yeah, the SBS stopped showing up in what we were reading too because they switched from scanning in the manga when it's printed to going weekly, so we've been spared.
Yeah, okay. So people in Wano, Kinemon, I've talked about this. Cat Viper or Godstorm. It's supposed to be Dogstrom. My fingers are a little fucked up. There might be some typos. I don't understand why both of them exist. Zhao doesn't... We cut a lot of Zhao, too. Orochi, talked about this as well. I don't understand. He doesn't give Kaido any more power. He fucking shouldn't be there. Kanjuro, great narrative circle. Oh my god. There's been a spy leaking our information. Our plan's ruined. The plan wasn't ruined, actually, because we did a different plan instead. And then Kanjuro was defeated. All he did was separate Mononosuke, which, like, I mean, we know Oda's great at separating characters. You might have Mononosuke get, like, tummy hurty or something, and then he can't go to Onigashima or whatever. Anyway, that sucks. Jack, what was the point of him? I don't even fucking understand. All of the Toby Roppo, I don't understand. None of their fights were good. None of them were interesting. I don't get it. I literally don't understand.
Listen here, Jello. One of those slots gave our good friend Aram Nays a job.
That's true. I've cut every friend of mine who voices in One Piece. I cut Danny's character. I cut Lenti's character. I cut Aram, but I didn't cut King Stelly because he does a purpose, and that makes me look like a fucking asshole. But it's true. Fucking all of the numbers, those giants. What's the point, man? Yamato. What, like, I don't want to. I know this sounds like nothing, but like seriously, like nothing happens in one. Like the raid is so pointless. The stupid, awful Tengu grandpa. Actually, this was the close thing on my 6th least favorite character list. This was the one that didn't make the cut. Was this guy in King Riku? I hate the thing Oda does where he's like, oh, if only a new generation will come and solve our problem, like global warming. And it's like one thing if the old generation was killed and taken over by an evil middle generation, but no, the old generation will just be in a hut somewhere living fine and honestly pretty well. But like they won't have been assassinated by the old government, even though that's like the number one thing you do when you depose an old royal lineage is you kill everyone with a claim to the throne, because that's the only threat to your legitimacy. But no, there's just an old man sitting around who's like, I haven't done anything out of shame. And it's like, damn, you should kill yourself, and I'm not joking.
And also, everyone knows he exists.
Yeah, yeah, man, I fucking hate those guys. And then they're always like, you will be my new successor, unfitting child who did nothing in this arc. Kid and killer, they never did anything. I wish they were dead. I don't even recognize these next 8 guys. And then the barrier man who prevented Orochi from dying, which was stupid. And I wasn't sure whether or not to add this, but you guys let me know.
Mm-hmm.
Should I put Mono's sister on here?
Like, it's hard because I don't remember her doing anything, because she has looks like 3 other characters that exist in this arc, so it's like hard for me to really like.
She says Orochi is stinky, and then Fake dies, and then hangs on Zoro's arm while he goes, I'm gay. She goes, how big that dick? And he goes, small, leave me alone for a little while. So Aegis Zero are not expendable characters? They're already cut. Oh, they are in Wano, aren't they? Yeah, you can cut them. Fuck them. I don't know them.
Someone asked, should Basil be cut?
Who?
Hawkins, whatever. Fucking straw man.
I like him, actually. I like him. I like him and Apu because I like them as examples of guys who have been absorbed into the enemy crew. I think that's interesting. I like that as a fate for some of the supernovas. I think it makes sense that not all of them were successful. And we saw that with Capone, but Capone was faking it so we could get a shot at Big Mom's head. I kind of like the idea of the other 2 actually being there. And someone was bitching about Hawkins. I think Hawkins has a cool power set. I like that if you attack him, it kills another person. I think that's actually interesting. But I like him.
He has straw powers.
I like scarecrows and string and straw powers, okay?
You know, Jello.
Listen!
Yeah, but what about Luffy, who has a straw hat?
He's fine.
Damn.
I wouldn't fight that.
Manipulated the straw hat and destroyed it, and Luffy killed him.
Oh my god. I wouldn't be like, I'm not gonna hang on to Hawkins that hard. I will keep Apu though. I fucking love Apu. I wish he did more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Hiyori did nothing. She goes to kill Orochi, but then Denjiro swoops in to do it. Like, the best argument I have for not cutting Hiyori is that she gives Denjiro more stuff to do, and I like the idea that they infiltrated Orochi's operation to the degree they did, but I would significantly change her and make her less of a One Piece girl if that were the case. But anyway, the full cut character count. In Act 1, as previously established, all of Act 1 of One Piece, not of Wano, 48 characters from East Blue to the fucking time skip, which is like not great, but not terrible. And then from New World is about 4 times that much, 165 for a grand total of 213 characters that I could say you could just completely cut.
And Jello was being nice on some of these and counting groups as one person.
Oh, I was being very nice. There's a lot of these where, groups are also on here. So like, the example I always think of, even though it's not the worst, is like the dwarves have like a little, they ride on foxes in like one scene, and it's like, here's the fox, the foxes, they run, and they have a name drop, and I'm like, you're literally wasting a panel to do this. Get it out of here.
We're going into Ennia's lobby. You have to fight the dog guards.
Man, what the fuck was all that? But yeah, cut a lot of One Piece. So if you're new here and enjoy hearing us bitch, there's hours of bitch you can get on this Patreon for just $5, along with like 150 hours of stuff and a bunch of secret videos.
It's not all just bitching.
We had a good time with significant chunks of One Piece.
Hmm.
So, but nah, like,
Yeah.
do we have anything else scheduled, or is that just like it? Do we have any
That's
close?
it for the moment. I'm just things that will be on the Patreon exclusive stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put the Imgurs. I can probably up those. Those will be up within an hour because I need to go shower. I didn't have time before the thing, so I've just been sitting stinky reading 1,000 chapters of One Piece.
Starving.
And all the Imgur albums is it's like 400 images of silly little gags. Bo was reading them with his partner, and the reviews were funny.
Yeah, my partner liked Jello's jokes more than mine.
Very rude.
Like I barely commented because obviously I was reading like a lot of physical stuff. But yeah.
I actually tried harder to include more of your like stuff that if Bo or I had said it, I'd be like, I don't know, should I include that? I was like, it's nice to get Aloha's icon in there sometimes.
Yeah,
So
like
you do come in occasionally. Then once I finish all the visuals for those nice charts, they'll be at full size in there. That'll be fun. And I'm gonna write a One Piece stib, and then I guess I don't know, maybe I'll hire Bo to make it. Bo wants more money, so that sounds good.
I want money and work.
Money and One Piece. It's simple. It's
so
shrimple.
I think we're done. Thanks for organizing this, Aloha. Sorry I made the last stream public, or was that a PR stunt to get you guys to join the book club?
It's cool. As long as you admit that you did it, because there was a bit where you were like, no, it couldn't have been. I couldn't have failed. And I was like, if you failed, that meant I failed, and I don't want to fail either. And everyone in chat was like, oh, look at Aloha fucking up again. And I'm like, fuck you.
I defended you there.
So, yeah, thank you very much. But yeah, that's good. Remember, in January, we'll probably be doing a Dungeon Meshi episode. That's going to be Patreon exclusive. On a series you like next. I mean, we'll be reading Dungeon Meshi, which none of us have read. So like, we'll see. But everyone
also,
talks.
No matter what series we get, we're probably going to be like this.
Yeah, like honestly.
Oh yeah, if you don't like people complaining about how something could be better, even if they like it, we might not be the book club for you.
Yeah. Right. Like we talk about what's good, but we also will talk about what we don't like and what we think could be better, right? That's just 100% of our vibes, right? As creatives, I feel like comparing and also just like looking at a piece of work and saying how you would have done it, right, is just a part of the creative process and your personal growth, kind of, you know.
Yeah, and that's like healthy as a creator, where you're like, how can I improve this? Whereas like Oda is told, hey, can you make this less sexist? And he's like, I'm going to make a character
bigger tits on that one.
I'm going to make a character who fights naked in soap bubbles, and her gimmick is saying that's sexist to make fun of you for telling me that.
Yeah, but yeah.
Also, here's a 15-year-old. I'm gonna show her tits and ass a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, just remember Dungeon Meshi in January. Take all of December to read it. Take your time. Don't be late. Don't read it last minute. And that's my advice. I think that's it. Oh God,
I'm so excited
here.
I'm so excited to take this fucking straw hat on my Fugi off and wear something else.
Yeah, we'll have to be dressed like Dungeon Meshi characters next time, and we'll have to read and figure out what the fuck that means.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I can't believe Bo took the Nami tattoo for himself and then made Aloha and I fucking Zoro.
I'm fucking Zoro. All right, bye chat. Thank you for coming out. Later.
Bye.